Welcome, everybody. We're going to do our last episode of the Xavier Protocol Invitational. So, this is the final. And today we have Morgan versus Pat. My co-commentator for the day is going to be none other than Jacob himself. So, welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. We've had a priority roll. Pat won it and chose extracts. He's got a choice of spider infected or one of the RNG ones, the free core, I think. I expect he's going to go for spider infected. Morgan has a choice of demons downtown or mutant marathon. Hovering over demons downtown, so it looks like I suspect we're going to see spiders against demons downtown. Yeah, spider infected versus.
Nice.
Um,
When they decide on points, we'll see if we can let you guys know.
yeah.
And for the viewers today, I have a double-sided screen setup. I have the priority chart where it determines what they're recruiting and dismissing in each step in the middle of your screen. And I have Pat's list in blue on the left side, and I have Morgan's list in right on the red side in terms of their characters. So with that, widespread extract and very central secure, we might see a fight start at the wings and then come to the center. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's quite likely that they'll maybe get some fast characters to go out there.
All right.
Just looking at map rotation before they start drafting, but the threat value 17 is what's been chosen by Pat. So yeah, we've got a lot of options here with these rosters. I think Morgan might not hate having not having priority. He can kind of get a feel for which way Pat's going. I know if Pat goes heavily into Wakanda, then Morgan's going to be looking at going into Cabal. He feels very strong. Cabal's a good choice into Wakanda. And maybe to start with that, he goes with something like Enchantress to give him options, so he can go into Asgard. Has he got Thor? I can't remember. Yes, he's got Thor. So he's got an Asgard option on the table. So Enchantress with that dual affiliation of Cabal and Asgard.
I was going to say Cabal versus Asgard. What is this, season one?
Well, strong things are strong. They always happen. They will continue to be strong.
That's right. Those two affiliations have stood the test of time pretty well.
Yeah, almost as well as Wakanda.
Well, Wakanda's one of them, so they should.
Yeah, Cabal and Asgard, but sure.
I was singing Cabal as the other one, but yeah. Yeah. So first picks, I like Angela, I like Zemo, I like.
I don't see Zemo for Pat. I can see Angela for Pat.
Oh yeah, I was saying like long movers are things that are catching my eye, and then finally you also want probably at least one character that can brawl a bit when you do get back to center. Medusas are good picks. If you can slip in Magneto, he's excellent when you get up close to him. We might see, on the other side of things, we might see She-Hulk zipping around the board. We might see Killmonger scrapping.
I'm thinking, Pat has, as predicted, recruited Angela.
Nice.
And man, Morgan's talking on Loki. Interesting. I don't think he's going to go for Loki first. I'm very surprised.
I like Loki in Battle Realms. I think he's a pretty cheeky pick. When you have a lot of things that are unpredictable, throwing another wrench in your opponent's works could be a good move.
Yeah, and Loki's still got that dual affiliation Asgard Cabal thing going on, so it still gives Morgan options.
Yeah.
But first pick, he's gone Thor, so looks like he's locking in Asgard. Although he can play Thor in Cabal, he's pretty decent there. So Pat's now going to dismiss, and I kind of expect Angela to go, but I could equally see Enchantress.
Do you like Thor in Cabal? Because you can throw out that hammer for 1 power. If you do damage, you can refund your power and apply that shock condition. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, and it's much easier. Yeah, just missing Enchantress. There we go. One of the power Asgard pieces.
And she's gone.
So, now, you've seen Angela, so I wouldn't be surprised for Morgan to force him either into Asgard or into A-Force, so by dismissing the other leader.
Yeah. That's a tactic I use for my own Battle Realms roster, actually. So I have a setup where I can pick any great supporting character, depending on the crisis. Like, I'll start with either Angela or Okoye, and then I'll have my opponent ban a leader, because they both have leaders, 2 leaders I can use them with, either an Asgard leader and a Wakanda leader, or something like that, and then I'll let them drive the affiliation that I might play, but I always make sure that I pick like an option of 2 for myself, that they would ban me one out of one of them,
And you're
and
happy to do the other
and
one,
happy
yeah.
with either one. Yes, exactly. But it's
So there's a few
more
things,
important to have
yeah.
that key supporting character first, in my
Morgan's
opinion.
taking his time over this decision, and I think there's lots of he's thinking it through and thinking sort of a couple of steps ahead in the picking process, thinking what does that look like then? What am I going up against?
Right. And right
I know
now
Pat.
we're on Pat to dismiss a character. Is that no
No,
Pat?
Morgan is dismissing one of Pat's, and
Right.
he's
Okay.
dismissing Enchantress. So they've both dismissed Enchantress. We're not seeing Enchantress this game.
When we if we do more battle realm streams, I'm planning on having like a red ribbon or something that'll slide down the list as the players draft to show our viewers what step they're at. But we didn't get there today. Sorry, guys.
Morgan now needs to choose which affiliation he's going to go with, or which Asgardians. So he's hovering. He's talking, just hovering over Red Skull and Modok with that Thorin Cabal that we talked about. That would put him, crikey, that would put him on 14, and then he only needs to get a 3 to get up to 17. Hovering over Loki as well. Again, looking at maybe the Asgard. Yeah, he's gone for Loki and Valkyrie, I suspect. Yeah, there we go. So
Those are
that
good picks.
at 12, he needs 5 to round out his roster. He's got some good 5 choices in Angela and Modok, or he could pick up a 3 and a 2.
Morgan is one of those players there. I always know that he's up to something that I can't figure out yet because he's smarter than I am. Why do you think he hasn't done Angela yet? He's all the other Asgard picks are slammed in.
Yeah, oh, well, it gives then Pat, I suspect he's going to be dismissing Angela and Modok. Because Modok on this D shape is very, very strong. Sorry, on the E shape. So we've got Pat picking, and he's got his free choice. He could pick up either Thor and go down the Asgard route, but Enchantress has already gone, or he could pick up Hulk and go down the A-Force route. Now he knows that he's facing Asgard. I kind of hope he goes down the A-Force so we don't have an Asgard off. I think it'd be more interesting if different affiliations played, but
Right.
we could get pretty close to a mirror if he grabbed Thor and Valkyrie, say. That's not very different to what Morgan's grabbed. And with Enchantress both gone.
It's interesting that Morgan let him have that choice. Do you think that, from Morgan's perspective as the opponent, is there an element here where he just doesn't care which affiliation Pat's playing?
I think so, yeah. He's gone for dismissing another power piece and gone, well, you don't care which one you're playing. I don't care which one you're playing. And I'm going to make you make that decision rather than me making it. Maybe
Right.
there's more potential for mistakes
Make him
if you
sweat.
make it rather than I make it. Or maybe it's just psychological. If you choose that affiliation, it turns out to be a great one, then at least it wasn't me that gave it to you.
Right.
He's picking up some Wakandans now. Pat does love Angela in Wakanda. I almost said that earlier. So it's gone for Black Panther and Okoye. Now, Black Panther and Okoye are both great in Asgard as well, so he may well still go for Asgard.
He also
Okoye, of course,
has.
Okoye
Yep.
is A-Force as well, so if he picks up She-Hulk, then he's got an A-Force core.
Yep.
He's got a lot of options still. It's the first time I've seen it go this deep in the draft, and he's still got 3 possible affiliations he could go for. It's going to make it very difficult for Morgan to know what to dismiss, because whatever 3 he dismisses, Pat's still going to have a bunch of really good options.
Right. And we're at the point where he can dismiss 3 things, right?
Yeah. So Morgan's going to be dismissing 3.
Is there a way that he can get out of Wakanda? He could no, right? Because he would have to ban.
If he banned all 3 Wakandans, he could still pick
Still
up
take
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster,
So,
yeah.
well, he can't take Wakanda off the table, although he would really want to play Angela because that's his first pick and it's very strong to go and grab and get that early extract advantage. So you'd be looking at maybe, so if he grabs that, that would be a core of 9 plus 5 is 14. He'd need another 3, and there's once you get rid of the Wakandans, yeah. So he's got rid of
Shuri's first dismissal, Killmonger
yeah.
was second dismissal. We're
I
waiting for a
wouldn't be
third.
surprised to see Storm go. I would also not be surprised to see Medusa go, though.
Do you ever ban Taskmaster here? Just to limit flex?
Probably not at this stage. Yeah, there we go. Medusa's going. Medusa, and again, Morgan. So he's limited the Wakandan options, and he's banned a power character who's also very strong into A-Force. And so if he hadn't done that, Pat could pick up like She-Hulk and Medusa, and then be looking at a really strong A-Force roster.
Oof, yeah. That roster would hit pretty hard.
Yeah. So now Pat is dismissing 3 from Morgan, and where are we at now? So we're locked into Asgard. So he's going to be thinking, again, we've got this situation where he needs 5 threats. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Angela and Modok getting dismissed as the 2 5s. And then either a power 3, like maybe Mystique would feel good because Mystique would be a great counter to the Angela play. I think she can. Long move. Can she get within 4? I'd have to look at that actually to see whether she can get within 4.
Yeah, and there are plays though that Angela can get to the center, grab an extract, and retreat and be within 2.
Yeah. So maybe Mystique's not so strong there, but then a late game Mystique, just
I
with
mean,
her.
Deception's very good all game, and
Yeah.
it's a card that forces your opponent to play around it, or you can kind of sneak up and get something squirrely going, and in the middle of nowhere.
Pat's dismissed the obvious 2, and he's now thinking about the last one. I'd be tempted actually to get rid of Zemo. Zemo in Asgard is very good. Those rerolls just helping everyone
Yes.
out.
Thor
But
loves it.
yeah, he's hovering over Okoye as well, so he's getting rid of one of the best 2s. So he's now got rid of the 5 options. He's got rid of the best 2 option.
Is this the first
So
final we've had in forever where Okoye isn't on both sides?
So now Morgan's going to be recruiting 2, and to round out his roster with what he's got, he needs a 3 and a 2. Now, of his 2s, he's got Toad and Widow. I think I'd probably favour Toad there. And for his 3s, he's got a choice of Shuri, Mystique, or Zemo. And again, I think the reason we talked about, I think I'd favour Zemo. So Toad and Zemo, I think, is what I would be leaning towards here.
Yeah, I do like those powerful flex options, and they bring a bit of utility, right, to the power pieces that we've already seen picked.
Yeah.
Banning those high threat values means that it's going to force Morgan to go a bit wider. He can't just pick 4 characters and sit on them.
Yeah. But with Toad and Loki on the table, we're going to see maybe a lot of out of activation movement shenanigans.
Yes.
I mean, a sneaky thing Morgan could be doing is he's still got Brotherhood on the table. So if he picked up Toad, he's gone for Shuri. Interesting choice there. On the E shape, she can be good. Pushing people into get incinerated as well is a fun tactic. So you've got Toad. So he's actually got a sneaky Brotherhood option still on the table with Magneto and Mystique still there. Right, back over to Pat. Pat is recruiting 2. And this is where we'll see which affiliation he's going to go for. If he's going Wakanda, he's probably going to grab Storm. If he's going Asgard, he'll grab Thor and Valkyrie. If he's going A-Force, he'll grab She-Hulk and some other one that fits into the build value. What would that be? That would be 11, 12, 13. He needs a 4-threat character. He's already got Panther. Maybe he just peeks up She-Hulk and goes, well, there's my 4 wide. Now I've forced you to go 5 wide. He's going to have Angela run up and grab a thing, run back, and he'll be able to daze one of the people that gets pushed forward towards that middle area and still retain priority. So he might be considering, does he want to go? Yeah, it's really interesting, actually. I think he'd rather go 5 wide. He's very good at taking out characters that have already activated. So I think his preference here is probably not going to be A-Force, because I think that forces him into only a 4 wide roster, as a 4 wide list, as opposed to a 5 wide list. So I think he might be moving.
That can really limit your options when you're playing Spider Infected. You kind of want a wider team, just so that you have the bodies to pick up those spiders.
So with Panther Okoye, Angela, and he's hovering over Storm. He does love Angela in, and then Valkyrie is a great.
Storm was recruited?
Great, yeah. Storm and Valkyrie.
Valkyrie was recruited. Nice.
Yeah. So that's what that's. That's his 17. If he just with the picks he's taken now, with the 5 he's picked, he's got 17. So that's his initial offering. But he might be looking now for options. That's dismissing Zemo and Mystique, getting rid of some of those power 3s, saying, right, well, I quite like you playing Shuri. I don't want you to have options of playing anyone else.
So we did, for Pat, at least draft Panther as a leader. So we have at least Wakanda affiliation on the table.
I think it is Wakanda. He could, he could zag into Asgard if Thor doesn't get dismissed. Mm-hmm. If I was Morgan, I'd be dismissing Thor probably just for that reason. I think I don't mind if, he's getting rid of the 2.
She-Hulk gone and Thor. Yeah, there's your call out for Thor. Good job.
And I know he knows now he's playing a Wakandan list. Taking Taskmaster so that he's got some options, and Beast again so that last spot, or possibly the Storm spot, he's got some options there, and he's going to get one of the 2s who he's not going to play. So picking up a Cabal sideline here, so that Morgan could go Red Skull, Magneto, Loki as his 3 Cabal members. That gives him a core of what, 12, and then he adds Thor to that. So he's still got the option of going 4 wide if he wants to try and steal the priority in round 1. Which is nice, actually. I hadn't seen that on the table, but just the way it's panned out, he's got an option to go 4 wide now if he wanted to. So we've got Rocket's been dismissed. We've got Black Widow's been dismissed. So now we've got the 2 lineups that we're going to be choosing from.
Yeah, I would think that I would try to, like, just my personal preference, and I don't know if this is the most competitive option, but I would, like, try to do a 5-wide roster in cases like this. Maybe it's just my comfort zone, but I like having the bodies to pick up all those spiders. It always makes me uncomfortable when, there's more objectives on the board, like, to a vast degree, than I have the characters to even go and stand by them.
Well, maybe, but do you know what I really like? The idea of Red Skull, Magneto, Loki, Thor with Cosmic Invigoration. Any of those are great with Cosmic Invigoration. You've got Dark Rain as a possible tactics card as well, and Magneto with Dark Rain, rerolls on rerolls, so he can get his rerolls on his range 3, pull them in, and then reroll twice potentially.
Rerolls for days.
If you look at the map, this map's got no size 4 on it. It's got a whole bunch of size 2s and size 3s in the middle as well. So
Speaking
Magneto's got lots of fodder there. The other thing that might do is having the option to bring Magneto in a 4-wide list might force Pat into bringing Brace, and then maybe he doesn't go with Throw Heavy. Maybe he goes away from the Throw Heavy side and makes that a dead tactics card. I mean, Thor, he's I think whatever his builds, it looks like he's playing Thor. So we might have a 5-wide Asgard or a 4-wide Cabal. I think we're definitely getting a 5-wide Wakanda from Pat. The question is which of the 3s he's picked is he going to go for. I strongly suspect he'll take Valkyrie, especially with all these size 2 cars in the middle. She's going to have a great time throwing around those size 2 cars for extra damage, as well as her control options of throwing characters.
Speaking of the cars, our map today, I think, is what, Madripoor Racetrack?
Yep, made by Pat. It's one of the new maps they put into TTS as part of the map creation contest.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Really
I like
fun
it.
map. It looks really cool. It's like, yeah, they're in the middle of a car race.
Yeah, you know what I really like? It looks like the characters are drifting around the extracts and secures.
Yeah. I'm sure Pat's done that on purpose. When you build the maps in the TTS map building section, you can drop down all of the tokens and make sure that none of your terrain overlaps tokens, or that your tokens don't overlap terrain partially, so they're completely on something instead of being slightly on something, if that's what you want to do.
Have you ever seen those races where they try to get their car as close to the barrier, or as close to the bucket on the racetrack as they can while going sideways? It's nuts.
Yeah.
And then Madripoor for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show.
It'd be really fun if there were rules for like each turn the car moves short round the track until it gets thrown out and destroyed, and then it's when it disappears off one side, it comes in on the other side next turn.
Yeah, I would. That would be awesome. I would play the heck out of that game.
That'd be a fun, like, casual thing to do with a whole load of cars actually going around.
Right. Grab your Hot Wheels collection.
Yeah.
All right, I was able to zoom out and get us a picture of the map here. Both players, it looks like, are drafting their rosters with their hidden zones, so we'll see what they come up with in a moment.
I think they're nearly ready. The time-consuming bit of this is the fact you've got 70-odd, or whatever it is, 100 tactics cards to look through and
right.
2 cards. Some of them are going to pick themselves. Pat's going to play Wakanda Forever. Morgan's going to be playing either Cosmic Invigoration or Odin's Blessing, and probably Rainbow Bridge if he's going Asgard. So there are some kind of easy lock-ins, but then there's a bit of consideration. Bits of rivals will be very strong on this shape because we're likely to be clustered relatively close to the
right.
Demon Portal.
Everything's going to kind of come back home after round 2, probably. Yeah, the devil's in the details, as they say. You know the obvious picks for your affiliation, the power cards that you want to be taking, like things like Odin's Blessing and Wakanda Forever. As you said, very strong cards. But how do you feel about the rest? That's where it comes up. Do you want to talk a bit about the new additions to the banned and restricted list everyone's buzzing about, and how we're handling it today?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's been a great move on the part of Atomic Mass Games. They have banned Fired Muscle, the cheers around the world. They have restricted all you've got, which when it first came out and saw a bit of play, I was like, yeah, this is going to get restricted. They only didn't restrict it in the first restricted list because it was very new. I
Right.
think for the same reason they haven't restricted Bitter Rivals currently. It's quite new, and they want to see how it plays in it first.
Yeah, and I think that's a good idea. They did mention on some of their podcasts that they do want to let the community breathe before they make any of these judgment calls, and I
Yeah.
think that's very wise.
So the way we're playing this, we are using the new ban and restricted, and both players did remove panic grips from their roster before they started choosing parties. We are essentially playing with the new updated ban and restricted list. So tactics, yeah. So Pat's gone for the 5 wide Wakanda that we predicted. Again with Valkyrie, like I said, there's control options and those sides just those cards in the middle of the map. That's going to be great for her. His tactics cards, he's got Brace for Impact, Med Pack, Wakanda Forever, Vibranium Shielding, one you don't normally see in constructed play, so it's interesting to see that coming out. Again, with the maybe type flow clustered nature, it's going to be good for him. It's also significantly better if you have priority,
Mm-hmm.
which he is going to. And Bitter Rivals,
Yeah,
whereas
but
Morgan,
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, Morgan's gone 5 wide Asgard. I thought that 4 wide Cabal would have been tempting for him. So we've got Thor, Loki, Valkyrie as his core, and Shuri and Toe. So again, those sort of the first 5 picks for each player is what's been made it in. And then Odin's Blessing, Rainbow Bridge, Bitter Rivals, Brace for Impact, and Med. So very similar tactics cards. We've got Brace for Impact on both sides, Med Pack on both sides, Bitter Rivals on both sides, and then we've got 2 affiliated cards, the 2 Wakandan cards and the 2 Asgardian cards.
I
So
think that's
really,
great,
really
actually.
similar.
I really like seeing vibranium shielding here. It's kind of like the defensive version of Bitter Rivals, more or less.
It's Pat didn't know that Morecambe was going to go 5 wide, and that card I played with it a bit when I was first playing with Conda like a year ago, and it's so much better when you have priority and you can set up your defense for your whole team.
Mm. So going wider on Morgan's side.
Has
Um,
made that card better, I reckon. Yeah.
right, right.
Although I doubt Morgan would have predicted that Pat would play it.
No, I
So
certainly would not have.
yeah,
It's definitely the redheaded stepchild of Wakanda cards.
yeah. So we got Angela in the middle to go and grab that central spider person. We've got Shuri relatively central, so she can push people around. Sorry, it's Loki central. Um, who's maybe he's going to go and grab one of those spiders and then move back towards a portal. Got Okoye. Okoye is a great character to put a spider on, although it is always annoying when you set up your bodyguard and then she gets pushed out of range. But if that's super important, Pat's likely to have priority for a vast chunk of this game.
See the characters deploying. So we've
Yep, again.
got Angela, Okoye, Valkyrie, Loki, all down on the table already.
Thor may be going to grab that other spider. I suspect you wouldn't want to spider because Morgan should be planning to pick up 2 spiders. And I suspect I don't mind having a spider on Toad and maybe Shuri? The characters that just are less relevant. Thor, Loki, and Valkyrie, the positioning is much more important where they end up. And they're likely to be going and hitting people to go and get spiders off them as well. Whereas Toad and Shuri can do a perfectly decent job staying a bit further out of the fight.
Right,
So
and because the secure in this combination isn't worth so many points as the extracts are collectively,
yeah.
I do expect to see some play here where the character or the players are going to try to simply dislodge an extract, but they may not even need to pick it up in order to get ahead on scoring. Simply
Mm.
denying that 1 point for one turn, might be enough to maintain the advantage they need to pull it out.
Pat's threatening. This is interesting. He's threatening a Black Panther goes long and goes and get another spider infected. So with that having that long mover, he can double move up. And he's not near Thor. Valkyrie, maybe she can move charge into Panther, but Panther's very, very durable. So I would expect Morgan. Pat's clearly going to go with Angela first, go and grab the center one. Although having said that, he could do one of his trademark don't go first with Angela. We saw that in the finals. We saw it in round 1 of the Invitational. That he can say, right, well, do you know what? I'm going to go and grab So potentially Black Panther goes, double moves, grabs the far spider, the one that's close to Loki. And then Angela goes, if you come and get this spider, you don't have a character that can move away. You're going to be standing in the middle. I'm going to move up. I'm going to hit you, and I'm going to throw a size 3 building at you.
I was just gonna say that. That's right. There's plenty of ammunition for her to lift up at the center of the table there.
Yeah.
And after that
So,
punch and that throw, or that sword strike and throw, she might still have enough power to lift an extract if she dazes a character.
so we've got Toad coming on over there. So if Pat does go in the centre first, I fully expect Toad to go and take away that option for Black Panther to go in there. If Black Panther goes first, then maybe Toad can do a range 3 attack into him, maybe generate a power, and then oh no, he's not going to be in range to do. He'd have to really spike to be able to hop and then incinerate, and then Panther's nearly there anyway. No, we're going with the Angela first. I think it would have been a fun play to do Black Panther first, but I can understand being Pat, he's always going to take the much more conservative, safer. I can guarantee going 3-2 up and not risk anything, as opposed to risking something and going up 4-1. That feels more like of a Travis Voss kind of play.
Here goes. First move here. Angela went to the center, just like. I mean, it was a 50-50 shot, I think, whether or not you pull that trigger.
I think knowing Pat, it's not Pat's style of play. He likes safe, good plays, and he's made a very good play here.
Yeah, why roll dice when you don't really have to?
Yeah, or why give your opponents the chance to influence you, get early attacks off, start building power, make you have difficult decisions about your first activation in the second round. Interesting where Angela's going to go. Okay, I think what Pat might be doing there is setting up Angela so that he's kind of forcing Morgan, whoever picks up that spider, to go in back towards the portals, I think, because he's threatening that positioning of Angela there. Very difficult for Morgan to get any attacks off on her this round. I mean, sure, he probably could and push her away, which doesn't feel awful. But what it is, it sets up Angela to easily. She's got a range 4 attack that can move her forwards, so that if you come into that center portal, then she can start attacking you next round. And if you're on the back portal, she could long move, and then she's got 2 size 3s there that she could potentially look at start throwing at people. So I think that's a good positioning, just exactly what we expect from these players, where Angela can be threatening to do really, the options she's got for next round are really very high.
Oh, I like
Yeah,
this.
great.
I like
Yeah,
Toad. I think he's coming across to get this spider here.
yeah, it's a strong play.
He's actually really difficult to daze, like in one shot, unless you are also able to pick something up and throw it at him first, because he can't
Yep.
slippery after having something thrown at him, but he can get away after just one attack. So like even Panther coming up and swatting at him, it's likely that he's just gonna zip away. It's hard to deal that 5 damage in one hit.
The trouble with this play is now Pat answers it probably with Black Panther doing the same thing, and then you've got a little module of Black Panther and Angela near a Toad. And whichever way Toad slipperies away, he's going to struggle to get away from those two characters who've both got good offensive output.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't think. I think this. Yeah, here we go. Panther's coming in, and he's going to go and grab the other one. And maybe that's exactly what Morgan wanted. Maybe he wanted the Panther to come up, and he knew that would be the response. And he trusts Valkyrie and Loki, and with some Shuri rerolls, to be able to do decent damage into Panther, maybe even to be able to completely take him out. I feel like that's unlikely though. Valkyrie's going to get one attack. If she does enough damage, she could then throw him into Loki, who might be able to get 2 attacks. You're looking at maybe 3 attacks with some Shuri rolls, and then maybe a bit of Shuri plink damage to finally finish him off. A couple of attacks from Shuri. So maybe the Panther goes down. Morgan's looking at a move and a hammer from Thor. But then who does that leave him going and getting that wide spider? So if Thor's coming across, I guess Valkyrie has to go off instead. Or I think what he's measuring there is if I throw Panther short with Valkyrie, can I get a range 5 cannon from Thor, and Thor can still go and pick up that spider, which is quite nice.
Yeah, that's an interesting play. That's a pretty controlling maneuver there. We also looks like we have maybe Loki coming in to do some things.
Again, that's saying, can I throw Panther to a point where Loki can get 2 strikes on him? That's what Morgan's looking at, I think. So he's looking at Valkyrie potentially just double moving and throwing Panther to a point where Loki can hit him twice, and Thor might be able to throw a hammer at him.
Mm.
That's what that short stick of measuring.
That's a yeah, that is a really interesting play. I mean, this is the kind of thing where like a lot of players will moan and groan about some tactics cards and things like deception and stuff like that in terms of early plays, but I've always thought that this game is deep enough where some of the best players in the world, like you're seeing, will will be able to create those advantages for themselves just with normal mechanics rather than any assistance from team tactics cards or the like. Um, and this kind of like I don't know. My background's from War Machine, so taking your opponent's models and caber tossing them back towards your own guys to get them beat up is kind of a classic.
Yeah. And if Black Panther is the leader, remember. So
Yeah, if you snipe that leadership out, it might be a different game suddenly.
yeah. Uh, okay, so he's positioning Valkyrie within 2, and instead of throwing Panther, it looks like he might be throwing a size 2 car.
Hmm.
Yeah, picking up some dice and rolling some defense on Panther.
Oh,
Blocks it off.
that's a good roll. Great
I'd
first
say
roll.
that was the wrong decision. Yeah.
So he elected to just
But,
chuck some terrain rather than moving the
yeah,
character around.
damage. Yeah. So,
I'm wondering if he didn't want to get so close to Panther so close to his lines. Because if you flub that, Panther can run away real quick. All right, we finally touching the top side of the table here.
yeah.
Got Storm moving up, taking cover behind a car, and grabbing her extract. Let's see where she goes.
Yeah, she's going to go back with her stealth. He's lying on that. He doesn't mind the incinerate because you have to get quite close to her, so you're committing into a space where Angela's going to be looking at you meanly.
That's right. And stealth will just automatically reduce the volume of attacks that she takes, so the debuff on her defense is
Yeah.
a little less primarily important. I like Loki moving up to take a central position. You want that Loki tax bubble from his God of Mischief. You want that as central as possible, usually. It's a ballsy move, thinking taking to the center though.
Maybe he's thinking, he's going to be on 3 power next round. 4 power. So he's got a trickster. So he's looking, can I get, to a point where I'm going to score this point and then I can maybe trickster out so Angela can't get her mean attack on me that's going to move me forward. Sorry, move Angela forward.
Right.
But yeah, I think Morgan's just like, well, I've got to go. Now that I'm down on extracts, I've got to go and try and keep parity on secures.
Yeah, and demons is one of those strange ones because I think we've talked about before the like defensive scoring options, where if you're ahead on extracts significantly, so you may just need one portal, and that's it.
I think this shows the way this is panning out why he chose not to throw Panther in. If Morgan's going to be using all of his actions to try and daze Panther, which may be a fool's errand, then he would be abandoning a lot of those secures. And although he might get ahead on attrition and maybe he can claw back parity on scenario, he's chosen to go, do you know what, let's go 4-4 and see how round 2 plays out. So he's chosen to try and keep parity with scoring.
And I think that's the safer play, right? You're betting less on your dice, and you're playing the scenario, and you're planning for round 2 at that point.
Again, players like Travis, I can see him going, let's kill Panther and down the dice and see what happens. Morgan's gone, I've seen that option, thought about it. We saw him measuring to Loki and measuring to Thor. Maybe he thought I wasn't going to get enough volume of attacks on, so I'll move Valkyrie up. I'll deny a piece of terrain to my opponent because that's a resource that either of them can use. And maybe I'll get a bit of chip damage into Panther. Didn't pan out, but I still think he's going to be relatively happy with how this is going to end at the end of round 1. Quay moving up to within 4 of Toad. She's going to fire a spear to generate power. just in case anybody fancies having pot at Angela.
Yeah, she's also there to put up the bodyguard if needed.
Yeah. Well, the Spear Blast gives him the power he needs, irrespective of damage.
Right. That's a great move. Great safe move. It's exactly what she needs. That one power on turn 1 to be able to bodyguard no matter what.
Yep. No damage there on Toad. I've got a reroll coming in. So one damage through. So he doesn't have the power to Slippery. So he's just going to stay there. I think 1 damage on Toad. I think Pat will be quite happy with that. Toad's staying exactly where he is, and it's that bit easier. Morgan, however, using the Asgardian leadership, spends that power to just clear it off. So no damage, nothing's happened to Toad.
That's a great move. That Asgard leadership has always been strong. Just, the characters don't daze easily in one-shots in this game. And being able to just, restore that 1 point here and there can really make a difference and can really boost a character's odds of survival. And I think you've done the math before, right? Stamina values are basically the biggest key to keeping a character alive. So refilling that bucket of HP is just very important.
If you're wondering why Okoye is only on 1 power, she spent 1 for a Wakanda reroll. Pat was keen to get some damage through. I think he maybe forgot about the Asgardian leadership. I think he'd have been happier to keep that 1 power on Okoye. She's got such good use for it.
Yeah, it does still also... I think it's like a neutral exchange either way, right? Okoye is going to get the 1 power that she needs to bodyguard next round, and Angela's not at a terrible risk of taking a hit right now.
It's true. But
she might get shot by Shuri.
Toad's going to finish the turn on 0 power and 0 damage either way, and Okoye could have finished it on 2 power. So it's a really small difference, but sometimes those small differences can swing a game. It's probably going to be inconsequential, but it may be that, oh man, if Okoye just had 1 more power.
Yeah, those situations do come up a lot in this game. That's why you play Advanced R&D.
Yeah, or Inhumans. That works too.
I've been hearing a lot of buzz about them recently. I've never played them, but a lot of people are saying that their leadership's better than they initially gave them credit for. I mean, it's nice to see those opinions. I like it when, something's released and it flies under the radar, and then people start to really tune into it. Always trust your game developers. They usually know what's going on. All right, so we're seeing a move from Thor, and looks like he's getting a placement that's just outside of range 4 from Okoye. I would have loved to see sibling rivalry here. That's like my favorite tactics card.
Interesting what else Morgan if it crossed his mind.
Get help. But I hate that game.
Okay, so...
And we got a pretty conservative Valkyrie move here,
Yeah, staying outside of the Loki bubble so that she only has to pay 2 for charge and not 3. She also, the order of it is important because next turn she will also have 4 power, and you Warrior of Legend, active superpower, so you have to use Warrior of Legend before you charge.
Right.
You can't interrupt that action in the middle. So he's there, so he has got a Warrior of Legend and charge would only cost 4. If he was inside that bubble, then it would cost 6. So smart play from her.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. We're seeing a quiet advance from Shuri at the end of the turn. We're going to plug Angela and push her back.
Yeah, going to score that point and push away a character that...
And while Andrew does have the movement to kind of get back in here,
it's just it's going to put her out of 4. I saw he didn't measure whether Thor was in 4. I think it's kind of tight. I think possibly he's out, but if he knew he was going to push with Shuri anyway, it didn't matter.
Right, that's what I was thinking, and I think that this just kind of limits Angela's options. It doesn't disable her. It doesn't take her out of the game. But it does mandate that she perhaps uses a move first instead of being able to get the Blades of Icar, I think it's called, onto somebody. So she can't really get that free move along with her attack this time, is what it's going to come down to most likely, is kind of what's determined by this push,
trying to push Angela so that she's outside of 4. Yeah.
I think Morgan's trying to measure to see if he can get Angela away from Toad, but I don't like that
Yeah,
push
I
angle
think.
with the Koya there.
Yeah, yeah, I think that we've got a table judge in art, a very good table judge, um, and I'm sure he would have stepped in and said, "No, you need to make use at all." I
Oh
think
well,
Angela. I don't think it was possible for Angela to get outside of 4 of Toad because of the angle that Shuri was pushing her at.
yeah, I will also call back to Smart Drive in our Twitch chat was asking about Okoye's power total. So we do think that she used a Wakanda reroll to try and get 1 damage through on Toad, but it didn't really work out because Toad then used Asgard leadership um, to heal that damage. All right, so we're going to round 2. The score is 4-4 between both players. We've got 3 extracts on Pat's side and 2 extracts on Morgan's side, but Morgan managed to even up the score by taking 2 of the portals. So right
Okay,
now
we're
I
rolling
think.
spiders.
Mm-hmm.
Spider looks like we're going.
So Pat with priority has the choice of doing either spiders or the incinerate from demon portals first, and it looks like he selected spiders, which
I
means
think
Pat
maybe
will have to roll on all of his characters before Morgan rolls anything.
yeah. I think I might have incinerated first, just in case. I know it doesn't. Just no. He wants to move Thor back on and incinerate Thor. Yeah. Okay. That probably is
Yeah,
the
it
scenario.
really. I always make the decision based on like, is there even a chance I can get one of my opponent's characters that they did not want incinerated onto a secure, and then light him up.
Mm. So bringing Panther in, so that I think it's very likely Panther's going to activate first and retreat back to safety, rather than face a hailstorm of Asgardian planes.
Yeah. And the spider infected movement is an
This is
advance,
Angela
right?
rolling. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And that means that it's not a push. So if Thor gets moved, he can move forward or backward to either one of those secures through the characters
Angela's
standing next to
fine.
him.
Looks like Storm is the last roll.
Looks like no movement there either.
Yeah, maybe not Storm either.
Yeah, I do think Panther getting out of there with his extract is a good safe maneuver. First off,
I'm seeing
when do you
normal
think
roll.
about vibranium shielding here? Is that
Did we
is
see
that a
Morgan
later
roll
turn probably?
spiders? Did we see Morgan roll spiders?
No. Should I call something
On the
else here?
heart.
Are you
Yeah.
okay? We're tracking.
I've sent a message through. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be talking about it. And I think maybe Pat was thinking that my characters are done moving. Maybe I'll just put on my incinerates before we forget.
Yeah. And Loki and Shuri are going to get incinerated either way. So maybe
Right.
they're just.
Oh no, measuring movement here. Yeah, and keeping track of the crisis interaction is both players' responsibilities. The um, and yeah, it's always it feels bad when you come up and think, oh man, that difference in movement may have actually mattered to what we're doing.
Okay.
See if we can get that sorted for the guys.
I put a message in the to the judge and I put a message on the table. So
Yeah, I'm sure they'll catch it. And maybe. Oh, hey, here we go. So we got Black Panther moving up close to. Is it possible they couldn't see our message for the different table rolls? Like you have to be a certain color or something?
they should be able to see it. Uh, so this is Panther having a punch at Toad, trying to make him drop a spider.
Mm.
Looks like he has spent the power.
It's a big hit on
Get the
Toad, it
man.
looks like.
Yeah, yeah. It's 4 damage to Toad. And a push.
So Toad getting pushed back. He can still slippery here.
Yep, after the push, he'll have the option of slippery, which, yep, there
And
we
with
go.
Wall Crawler, he can get on top of that box.
Yep.
So that'll
And
give
then
him
with Asgard,
cover.
he's going to heal, and with Asgard, he's going to heal 1 off.
Slippery boy.
Yeah,
The interesting is
ask them.
starting with 4 power there. Slippery for 2, you're down to 2, and Asgard for 1, you're down to 1. That means if you take 1 more damage, you can even slippery again. Later turn.
Just check with them. Morgan rolled 2 skulls for the spiders. Maybe
Oh,
that was too quick for us to see what happened.
it could be, yeah. Good call.
Just didn't catch that, maybe.
Well, question
No
answered.
movement.
Looks like we're getting a placement here that is outside of range to a Panther, so I think this is protection against Wakanda forever. Don't want him swatted like a fly randomly when you're not expecting it. You know what happens to a Toad that gets punched by a Panther?
It is within range of a Koye, sadly.
Right.
But Toad's going to heal to 3 at the beginning of. We're now looking at Wakanda Forever from a Koye. That's what I think Pat's considering.
Oof. It's just to take out Toad. That's an interesting call.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
Because otherwise, he's going to heal and he's going to double move back and maybe he's have the power to hop as well. He's going to be like back behind that size 3 building where no one can see him.
Yeah, no arguments about his ability to get away. Oh, man. Panther's got enough power to pounce to a new location, maybe within range 2, and then he might be able to pull that Wakanda Forever off.
Yeah, that's nice. So the question is, do you want to Wakanda Forever to get a Toad?
I think that
Maybe.
if you can get somebody else, like maybe Valkyrie with your Okoye here, it might be worth it.
So that puts Pat on 4 extracts when Okoye goes down to pick it up.
Well, that and like he could scatter the extract somewhere else. Like I was saying at the start of the game, it's not necessarily mandatory in this crisis combination that you grab all of the extracts, so long as you're getting enough that your opponent doesn't keep parity. You know. Oh, it looks like we didn't pull the trigger on Wakanda Forever, so here we go. Toad trying to get out.
Again, another characteristic of Pat's play is saving good tactics cards for later in the game.
Right. Yeah, you want to set up for those power plays, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think we're trying to check to see how far Angela can chase him.
Yeah. So Toad's killed 1 off the Asgardian ability, and he's still got enough power to hop off if he wants to.
Yeah, Toad fragilely is going to run and extract this extract and do what he does. This is a good objective running character. Setting up here behind that police car. Or, I mean, sorry, race car. Madripoor race car. We still have the shell car out in the lead today. The other race leaders haven't been upset yet.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that kind of commentary we were doing.
It's 6 a.m. at the start of this game. It's going to be some color commentary coming from me. I'm letting you take the nitty-gritty stuff.
So, Toad's moved and Pat, did he hop? It looks like he didn't hop.
No, I think he kept the power. And I think that's okay, because if he takes even 1 damage, he's sitting behind cover with his car. I like that. If he takes even 1 damage, he'll have enough to slippery again and get even farther away.
But if he takes more than 1 damage, he dazes and falls over. I think I'd have been inclined to hop there. Just to guarantee that you're away. I guess it doesn't guarantee. Okoye could double move Beard Blast off Wakanda Forever. It's still an option.
Yeah, and Angela could still double move and dunk the car on him either way.
think with Slipper, she's throwing mediums. A medium throw for her. Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's
is,
it's
man.
quite long, I think, right? Definitely not a short throw.
Yeah, it's a medium throw. So maybe you're right. But even with range two hop, it'd be within Angela threat range.
I think it's kind of dealer's choice, whatever you're comfortable with, because either way, there's an opportunity for Angela to come in and or for another character to come in and do something to Toad. So it's really just what do you expect of your opponent, probably at this point. Maybe Angela double moving to the car to throw it at Toad is something that Morgan wants to draw Angela in, because Angela also has that extract, and that puts her
Like
closer to
that's
Valkyrie.
rolling. It's like an Okoye attack into two defense dice.
I think
That's an
it was
incinerated
Storm.
Loki.
I think Storm
Ah,
moved
could
up on
well be.
top of the car here,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she's moved on the car and she's shooting at Loki. For
trying for that
yeah,
shock, maybe.
it's not really trying to just a couple of damage there would have been lovely. Building her power, she really needs that few extra power to really get going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you either
Because
have to
one,
take a minute to charge her up for a couple turns, just gaining one power a turn, or you get a lucky builder, get some damage through, and then maybe you can
yeah.
start teeing off with her. Not so today, unfortunately.
So, what's the important moves here? I think Morgan will be keen to get a shock on Angela as soon as he can.
Yeah, it's just probably not a move. I mean, how much do you want to risk for that move, though? Because if
Yeah.
Thor tries for it now, he can move up, but not backward.
Hmm. Just
And
looking,
I
a
think
reminder of the tactical cards because you can't see them. They've both got med pack. They've both got brace. They've both got bitter rivals. And then Pat has got the two Wakandan cards, Wakanda Forever and Vibranium Shielding. And Morgan has got the two Asgard cards, Odin's Blessing and Rainbow Bridge. And none of them have been used yet. We're into
yeah,
round two and
I
three.
I expect that they're going to save those close to the vest as long as possible, especially cards like Odin's Blessing and Rainbow Bridge. I feel like Rainbow Bridge is going to be used as a positioning mechanic in terms of extract recovery. This isn't a game. This isn't Panic where the Asgard player can kind of just
Run away.
keep away with these extracts and then dunk them for extra points. So it may be an opportunity for him to leap forward across the board and grab an extract he might not have otherwise been able to get to.
So Loki spending two power. So this is an I am a god roll. Bad dice from Morgan there. That's a lot below what you'd expect.
Loki spent 2 power.
And oh no, this is Loki did spend two power, didn't he?
Uh,
It's like so that was Thor shocking by the looks of it. Thor shocking Valkyrie because she's in five. That's a nice move too. So Loki spent what? Four. Now Loki spent one and Thor spent one.
for what?
A good question.
I'm like, Loki doesn't have a range 4 attack that is free. This beam is range 3, right?
Yeah, this looks like another
Oh,
hammer throw.
Loki. Did Loki spend power for removing a condition? There's an Asgard token on him. That's probably what it
Ah,
was.
yeah. So he's got rid of the incinerate.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good move.
And then
I, God,
Thor's thrown a hammer
it's
into
such good
Valkyrie
leadership.
Doctor. Done no damage to Valkyrie, but now we're going to Okoye. Looks like a Wakanda read.
Actually, that 1 damage to, or that 0 damage with shock, that's like exactly what you want when you're throwing a hammer almost. Unless
Either
you're
that or
playing
you want
Cabal,
to
right?
fight it and leave her on like two.
Right. You're not generating power. You're taking away their offensive potential. You're kind of canceling out the penalty you're taking from the secures. All around, good stuff, I think. That
Yep.
hammer throw is highly undervalued. I think it's one of Thor's best abilities.
Rerolls available from Shuri, but Morgan choosing not to use them. He's not after the damage.
Right. Just as I was saying. Yeah, you're perfectly happy to take 0 damage, not generate power for your opponent, and shock him and debuff him. And you save those rerolls for defense or for that big attack that you really need to dunk on somebody with.
I think Pat's probably going to just ignore Toad now. I think sending Angela over there to deal with him feels like she's going to be too far out of the game, and then she's going to be vulnerable to Valkyrie with a counter attack.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you. I think that one extract in the corner of the board is probably inconsequential if you can succeed at getting this other spider infected token off of Thor. That'll create
Yeah,
enough of a differential in points that I think Pat could scoop that up and run away with it, or leave it on the ground and Morgan's points will suffer for it.
so this is a Koye going into Loki. Decent hit. Loki's now he's seen the role. Loki is spending 2 for I Am a God. Count blanks on defense. Nice timing interval there of deciding what you want to do. You get to see your opponent. You
Right.
don't get to see them explode the crits, but now Pat rolls in the crit.
That's kind of a unique rule in that aspect. It's one of the only. Is it the only ability in the game that can time itself like that?
I think so. I'm struggling to think of another one. Okay,
Right.
so then we've got a re-roll here from Pat, and I think he paid for Wakanda as well.
Mm-hmm. So
He
that'll be the
knows he's
second
getting a
reroll.
power back off this. So, man, off a 4 dice attack, he's ended up with 4 hits, 1 block because of that blank counting, so he takes 3.
Wow. Well, it does leave him enough power to slippery, but he's already used his Asgard ability, so that damage is gonna stick for now.
Well, he's got a med pack. I wouldn't be surprised to see a med pack coming out on him
Sure.
because it's 3 damage. It's a perfect opportunity to do it.
Do you want to? Would you prefer to have yourself med packed here, or have enough power to use his mischievous movement abilities? It's a tough choice for me, personally. Maybe if you can get a med pack off with Shuri? I don't know if you want her activating right now. Or Valkyrie can run up and do it.
Yeah, I think he's kind of holding Valkyrie's action to try and get the most out of her when Pat's committed forward a bit more. So far, we've seen him use Storm with a range 4 attack and Okoye with a range 4 attack. His sort of melee beaters, he's leaving later in the activation, so there's less, once he commits them forwards, there's less stuff coming back at them.
Right. Yeah, he's
So just
limiting his exposure earlier in the round.
Yeah. So again, maybe activating Shuri again for a similar reason, because is he going to commit Loki forward, potentially? Because taking Storm down with Loki, so a move and an I Am a God strike, that's 5 dice count blanks into Storm.
And if you get close enough, you can't get cover from the car either. So
And then
that should
picks up
produce a pretty
Spider.
good hit.
Yeah. Or he could Rainbow Bridge and strike twice. I don't think that's a great use of Rainbow Bridge, but it's an
Yeah.
option.
I mean, if you can get something else out of it, but Valkyrie doesn't really have the power at the moment. Thor doesn't have the power at the moment. Might be more of a miss than a hit.
Mm.
However, going after Storm like you had suggested, that also jams Loki's bubbles further down Pat's throat and complicates the positioning that he chose to use in round 1, where he was trying to keep Valkyrie out of range of that bubble. So that could be something to think about.
Morgan's looking closely at positioning here. Pushing Storm off a point is quite nice. Storm is already incinerated, so pushing her off a point will force Pat to move someone else onto that point, so he'll be another incinerated character. Feels like if this comes down to attrition, that Morgan's got the better attrition-focused team.
Certainly, with Thor passing out shock like candy.
Yeah. Didn't manage to get, so it looks like, Okoye with her first action threw off the shock. That's why I was like, Okoye only took 1 action. Her first action was to shake the shock.
Mm-hmm. And doubling down on the attrition focus squad, you also have the benefit of Odin's Blessing Tactics card and the leadership from Thor, being able to remove that chip damage. So yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you that this is the better attrition focused team. It's just he's going to have to watch out for those spiky Angela engagements. Hopefully, reduce the amount of angelic assassin triggers she can get, and
Yeah.
if you can cut
Nice,
down those
nice
volume
four
of
hits as
attacks.
well. Four hits from Shuri. Shuri's rolled great, even though she can only do one pack.
My
But the
sure is always
skull is
real
now.
excellent and deal 1 damage.
Yeah. But the skull, you always like seeing that skull with Shuri. When we get Scarlet Witch, man, I'm going to really love seeing
I feel like that Scarlet Witch ability is going to be internal. I don't know if it's going to affect your other characters, but maybe I'm wrong.
no, even just on her,
Right. Oh, you're saying because it's a similar mechanic. I understand. Oh
you see a
boy.
skull and you're like, hey, skulls!
Oh, that's neat. So he was able to get a push on the Valkyrie here and push her away, and she's also not standing on the portal.
I don't think she's within one of the portal.
Right. I don't think she is either.
Yeah. And she's going to activate anyway, so he's just gone for distance.
Mm-hmm.
I still think she can. So if she wants to be making relevant attacks this round, she's got to move, charge, and she's only going to get one attack. Whereas before, maybe she was able to charge from just outside that Loki bubble, and maybe smash Loki.
Right. Oh, I think we also saw Medpack played. Yep.
Yep, Loki's damage has all gone away,
Yeah, that
and
was.
Shuri has less power than she had. So
I love that. I think that like that was something that I was considering based on Morgan's positioning. I was like, maybe you can have the best of both worlds. You leave enough power on Loki to use his movement tactics, the trickster ability for 3 power, and
yep,
and Shuri can come up and alleviate some of the damage you just spiked out on him.
and Shuri's still got enough 4 to hand out.
Yeah, and Shuri being in a great position here, right? You can use later on. You could use the Asgard ability to remove that incinerate if you need to. She's in a central position to put her rerolls in place, and she can exert some control over the scenario from here. I think it's in a good position for her.
The issue
Backstopped
that
by a
Morgan's
planter.
the issue Morgan's going to have now is who scores the back point. Because if he doesn't score the back point, his breaking parity, he'll go 8-7 down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's not the end of the world. Maybe he wants the positioning in the center of the board and is like, I'm happy to get 1 BP down. If he wants to keep parity, then either Loki's got to move back and Valkyrie's got to move to the center, or Valkyrie's got to move back, which is not what he wants to be doing to be impactful for the rest of the game. So I think maybe Morgan's going, you know what, I'm happy to lose that victory point in order to get the position in number one.
Right. You can claw back 1 victory point in the majority of games, unless something goes horribly wrong in terms of dice, right?
Yeah.
But you kind of have to roll with those punches, either way.
So interesting. Pat, I think, has recognised that and is going, do you know what? I don't have to chase the game here. I'm going to probably go up this game, or you're going to sacrifice your positioning.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's considering putting Valkyrie forward. He moved Valkyrie basically exactly back to where she was, just outside of the 4 Loki bubble. Looks
Going
like
into
he's
an
going to go.
incinerated Shuri, she's gonna hit her like a truck.
Yeah, this can be a Warrior of Legend
Right. Strike.
charge.
Yeah, charge into a
Oh no,
strike.
she's taking damage as well. This could be a charge Dragon Fang.
Uh, I think I just go for the strike personally. You can refund your power. You can use it to throw later, and I mean, like an incinerated Shuri isn't the most defensive creature in the game.
Well, one of the least, I'd say. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like he's paid for the charge. Yeah, he hasn't gone for the Warrior of Legend now. Still shot, so only 4 dice.
Yeah, that Warrior of Legend matters less when you're rolling less dice.
Although it would have been great here. That would have been 5 hits on 4 dice with Warrior of Legend.
Oh my goodness.
But Shuri gets 1 block, so she's going to take got Wakanda rerolls as well, of course. Yeah, very nice. So she's going to take 3 damage. She didn't roll skull that time. And then Valkyrie has got a throw. Looks like throwing Shuri forward. Angela says that looks tasty. An incinerated Shuri with only 2 health left.
And if you daze her while sitting on that central secure, she'll just wake up and get incinerated again.
Yep.
Oh no. We throw into Loki here.
Then Loki's already scoring it, so it's not generating any VPs.
Mm-hmm. I think we might be trying to deal some damage to Loki here with the throw too.
Hmm. I think if you damage Loki, you don't get into one of getting cinema, but maybe that's not as big a deal. Very good to Loki. Fury takes another one. Now Fury's only on one. That's increasing the chances that Angela's going to daze her.
Yeah, boy, is it ever.
I
I wonder
suspect
if
that's
she's within
more
range
of that.
4 too.
Yeah, and then Loki's going to be rolling and taking 3 damage. Ouch.
Oh man, there goes that med pack you worked so hard for.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Well,
feels
on the
bad,
flip
man.
side, if he hadn't med packed, then that would have been a dazed Loki and a dazed Valkyrie.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I'm not sure Pat would have been too happy giving away priority.
No, this is an excellent situation for Pat here.
Yeah, that's worked out just perfectly for him. In fact, I suspect to the extent that he wouldn't have thrown her into Loki if Loki was still.
Oh my goodness. I didn't see him measure this when moving Valkyrie, but that's a heck of a placement there.
Yep, he's done well to get him just outside, to get Valkyrie just outside of 2 of Loki, so not within strike range.
You got to imagine
So,
at this point, like doing that sort of maneuver is probably like playing from sense of smell for Pat. It's just second nature.
okay. So rather than taking the bait of revenging himself on Valkyrie, Morgan's looking at, well, can I get Storm off that point, double move Valkyrie, get Storm off that point, maybe maybe attack her as well. How much power is this? Only on 2. Double move, throw Storm off. Seems good. Storm's
So
already in
Loki's
some pods.
Loki's loaded with power here too. Maybe he just backs up Loki and uses his big spender. That's a range 4 attack, right?
Yeah. He's also got the range 3 beam. I don't think there's a great range 3 beam option on the table. Maybe you could get Okoye and Angela, or if you came off to the side, you could get Valkyrie and Okoye. But a slow on Angela, man, because that beam slows if it damages. It's only 4 dice, but it slows on damage. And with I am a god, then you're increasing your chances of getting it. So, a slowed Angela, that would be spicy.
That would really certainly limit Pat's abilities to rush down the center of the board here. But
Mm.
yeah, maybe he can just shake it. I don't know if that cuts into his action economy too much for this scenario.
Oh, well, then it becomes a stagger, and you're even happier,
Oh yeah, sure.
essentially.
Not sure which is worse though. Slow always feels so bad to me when a long mover when I have to deal with it for more than one round. I'm like, well, if I can still get away with doing whatever I want, maybe it's okay. But you know, second round, third round, fourth round, you got to deal with slow. It's just sucks.
Moving a damage Loki back on that back point we talked about. Is anyone going to stand at that point? Because Valkyrie's come forward now, I think maybe Morgan's thinking, I don't need to push forward as much, so I'd rather set on that back point. Got a beam 3 to slow the Valkyrie, maybe get some damage on her.
Yeah, and Loki probably sits on his power for using his trickster ability and I am a god ability and tries to bulk up on defense here probably.
Yeah, certainly Trickster is a great counter to Valkyrie's charge, but if he does get the slow on her, she's going to be struggling.
She's going to be even more sad, that's right.
Yeah.
Shock down slowed.
No, Loki looking like he's doing an I am a god with the big spender. He's just blown. Yep, 3 for illusions and 2 for I'm a god. Looking for that double wild trigger for illusions. Got 2. Okay, so it's looking pretty unlikely.
Well, the 2 crits though, right? He could roll in.
Yeah, he's just rolling in 1. He's just realised he's only rolled 1 and rolling in the second one. Oh man,
it was 1 wild.
Shuri rerolls. Shuri rerolls. Try and get that trigger.
Yeah, you could certainly. It's also going to be a pretty hefty hit there. I don't think Pat's rolled any blocks here.
Yeah, so I think Shuri, he's going 3 Shuri rolls, going wild fishing.
Oh yeah, because he had those successes right on blanks, so he's traded them to try and get that mesmerized. Maybe he wants to move her onto the flaming portal.
Doing it now, he's taking just 2.
Oh, I see. The others are going to remain blanks.
Yep.
Blanks will stay blanks. He's chosen to reroll shields. Everybody.
He's got 1 extra hit there because of the blank.
Not bad.
That means a dazed Valkyrie.
Yeah, that's certainly worth after the activation too. Yep.
Yeah.
And Loki's been able to retreat to within one of the portal to claim that point, so that's a good move. We'll see how Pat responds, but I think it's probably Angela smelling blood here. Maybe not too many characters left to go. In fact, that's his last activation, so he'll need to use her. Yep, here comes the assassin we were talking about. Gonna slam dunk that 1 damage onto Shuri, and then we'll see where Pat continues to take that activation after the fact. This will be Angela's second action, so anything else she does is going to have to be a bonus from either a throw or from her Angelic Assassin, I think. It's a good attack roll.
Yeah, really good.
Whew, 2 crits. And Morgan's not coming up hot on defense.
Yeah, that's a dazed Shuri.
Yeah, I think this was a foregone conclusion, getting 1 damage in there.
Yep. So Angela still gets placed within 1.
Mm-hmm.
So within 2 of Shuri. Although, because she was already within 2, you can just choose to skip her. You want to.
That's right.
It is a mandatory place. You can just place where you are because it's a range toss.
Yeah, it does not require you to actually translate the base in any direction. You can move 0 millimeters or inches and be within 2 still.
Although he is looking at his options. Don't want to get a bit further away.
Yeah, always good to consider what you can do.
Outside of Thor's range 2, forcing him to for Asgard if he wants to come into Angela next round. If Angela isn't activated first.
Yeah, and that would be Thor would have the power of that because he's sitting on 1 right now, so he'll go up to 3 next power phase.
Yeah, but it forces you to spend that, and then you need to generate off the strike in order to then get the throw, and it becomes much more of a dice game if you're just making him spend that power, and then he has to generate it back in order to get the amount to.
Yeah, well, thankfully we've got a fueled up Shuri in the center of the board now that would be able to give him some rerolls if he needed to make that play.
Yep, she's going to be on 9 power next round, but I would expect Pat to just try and take her out, kick Shuri off the board, take away all those rerolls.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hand priority probably for the rest of the game to Morgan if he does that. Then maybe he's happy sitting being the control player with a VP lead.
And more characters.
And more characters, yeah.
Because you would imagine Toad at this point might not be participating quite as much.
Yeah, something which I meant to add to the discussion earlier. If Toad's out on the side there, then Pat's taking his 17 for characters into Morgan's 50.
Right, yeah, it's already a 5v4 scenario. You're going to turn it into a 5v3. That seems pretty advantageous.
Yeah. Okay, he's taking the Angelic Assassin move to go to a bit more safety. But that looks like she's still within 4 to do a Blades of Ica into Shuri.
I always forget your Angelic Assassin move does not have to be toward that character.
In any way you like. I mean, it's normally to find another target because you also get an attack. So Pat has ceded his attack, probably to deny getting power on Thor. He doesn't want to power up Thor without the ability to take him off to take away that activation.
Yeah, I certainly think additional target acquisition is certainly the obvious choice when using that ability, but I think that the take a step back and play for positioning is equally, if not more, advantageous, I think. You always want to be doing what your opponent does not want you to be doing. Sitting right next to their beaters is probably something they'd be looking for, so...
Morgan's looking, can I get on that car and be within 1 of that portal and throw Storm off to try and get a point there? So
all of those things, but within 1 of the portal, I think, is something that you could achieve. It looks like it's a bit too far away.
The thought there being he's abandoning. If he goes to the middle portal, then he's going to be 4/4. Whereas if that were to come off, which you're right, it looks like it's out. Then he'd actually go up a point by denying. He'd still score 2 portals, but he's denying Storm from scoring that portal. He's also spotted that if he does that, he's in Angela range.
He's just going into the belly of the beast there. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
It does help him keep scenario parity.
No, it gives him advantage. He'd go 4 points and Pat's 3.
Um, well, you're sure on the center is dazed, though, right?
So
So he
you got
wouldn't
Loki at the
have.
back, you got 2 spiders, and you can then have Valkyrie on a portal.
Oh, I was thinking if she might not get there. You're throwing Storm away, but you're not scoring it, right?
Yeah. So I think if you don't get there, oh, he's gone for it. That's really interesting. That's quite an aggressive play from Morgan there in terms of the positioning.
Well,
Uh,
Storm is carrying an extract, so maybe he wants to throw her back towards the center, and then
or throw her into Angela.
yeah, and get some punches next round.
Yeah.
Maybe bank on a spider infected, moving her to an even more advantageous position. So 50-50 roll there.
Yeah. Yeah. Putting Storm right up in Thor's grill, that would be a nice, difficult choice for Pat to have to make on the first activation in round 3.
Mm-hmm. And we do know that Pat still has Brace for Impact ready to go, right? And the characters that we're looking at here in this interaction would have enough to spend it. So even if he slams Storm into Angela here, there's a chance that Pat just shrugs off that throw. But that can be okay. I think that means that it opens
I
up Thor to
feel like
throw a size 3 building later on.
exactly. I think knowing Pat and the way he plays, he's going to want to save that brace for the longer he holds it, the more power it has. So it's not going to daze Angela this into this collision. It's not going to daze Storm. I suspect he's just going to roll the dice and see what happens.
There's this little hair where her base was on top of Angela's and we're just adjusting it.
Yeah, he's taking damage on Storm and he's going to roll for Angela.
I think that's the right decision here. I wouldn't want to use my brace on this. I think there's no penchant for this to daze either of the characters. Just roll for the damage.
Done a good chunk of damage though. 2 damage into Angela.
Yeah, it's certainly not nothing.
She'd already taken one off shoot. Oh, we've got Wakanda reroll coming in. Doesn't do it for him.
Pat still has his med pack though, so
Yep. And Angela seems a prime target for it.
that's certainly a character you want to keep primed up in the game.
I think the only one I'd rather use it on is Panther, simply because Panther's defense is 1 damage on Panther is so much harder to do than 1 damage on Angela.
Yeah, Panther has his own internal tech, right? Angela's defensive abilities kind of require you turning off your opponent's rerolls to be more effective. But if your opponent isn't doing the rerolls, that's not an addition to your own defense. Whereas Panther counting blanks, that's just a straight up plus. So it looks like we've gone to round 3. The score is now 7-7, with Storm being thrown off that point, and we're rolling for Spider Infected. So Pat, again, has priority, I believe, and looks like Storm may have taken a move. We got Morgan just measuring out where he wants to jog Storm to see what we can get away with. Again, this is an advance, so he has the flexibility to kind of use the nubs to place it out here.
Yep. But a tight game. I don't think either of them has really forged an early lead here. It's been
Certainly
very
not.
conservative play, and it's kind of in the balance still. Certainly, if you look at the sort of attrition stakes, it looks like Morgan's ahead on the attrition count, having dazed Valkyrie and halfway there on Angela. But Morgan's already used his med pack, so some of that's going to get undone because Pat also has med.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And it looks like we rolled 1 crit for the next character. Maybe Storm went, so...
Is that Angela?
Was Angela?
And being moved back to get incinerated.
Oh no.
Again, because of the choice that Pat's made of the order there.
Whenever I play Spider Infected, I always make my rolls like left to right on my character sheets to help myself and my opponent keep track of who's who. It's just my personal preference. I always have a hard time kind of remembering which stage of the game are we at, especially when that tiny little move matters, and you're trying to get someone in range or something, and then before you know it, you're measuring 16 things, and you can't remember which character you just moved.
Yeah. Toad's being brought back in by that spider infected, and Thor's going to get moved as well. Probably to the point where he can't see anyone. No standing still in front of us.
Oh, he's going to get pushed back and incinerated, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice. So
this, I think, puts Toad in range of maybe Valkyrie getting to him. She's going to have to pay the Loki tax to charge over there, but maybe freeing up that extract's a neat idea. Depends on, I think, maybe how the rest of the interactions go. Pat's probably fine to leave him running away, but if the opportunity presents itself to get an advantage, I don't think he's above taking it.
I'm not sure you need to pay the Loki tax. I think you've got so much power on Valkyrie that like one big move, and then if you are out, then you charge Dragon Fang or something, because you can charge Dragon Fang Warrior Legend and just throw a bucket of dice and only needs to get 2.
Right, and the flurry will take effect before Toad's ability to slippery away from the first hit.
Absolutely.
So dealing 2 damage is almost a foregone conclusion there.
It seems pretty likely. So it's just a question of does he want to invest all that power? But that might be the thing that breaks this sort of
stalemate.
Parity that we've been. I wouldn't say stalemate, but the parity we've been seeing going up to 4 spiders.
Yeah, stalemate's a bad word.
Very, very strong position for that. Although that does leave, I think about Angela standing right next to a Valkyrie. That's another dangerous spot. So Pat's got to kind of pick his poison. Does he want to go after Toad and then have his Angela probably being dazed because no one's going to be able to medpack her because it must be the active character that uses medpack.
Mm-hmm. So if you're Pat, do you vibranium shielding with Storm here?
He's a bit of rivalsing onto Loki. So that's going to make Shuri easier to kill and Thor easier to kill and probably reduce Thor's output. His potential targets that he's got.
It's a great card.
It's going to be standing. So that's a nice play.
We got that paid for by Valkyrie, it looks like.
Yep, he's certainly got a lot of power.
I think we're just going straight into it.
Activating Valkyrie, and looks like he's going for Shuri, trying to take off the board of the dragon.
Yeah, you called it last round. That's exactly what he wanted, I think. And he's boosting his chances with the bitter rivals. So I didn't see any further power spent. It was Valkyrie that paid for the bitter rivals, right? And this is just a strike. 5, 6, 7.
No, he got some less tank.
Oh, okay. This is so Dragon Fang. So which character was it that paid for the bitter rivals?
Maybe Angela. She had quite a lot of power last round.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh, there she goes.
Angela paid for the bitter rivals, and Valkyrie is now Dragon Fang.
Yeah. So with a second action available, Valkyrie can then do what she needs to do to get away here. Doubling down and just dazing, just going after Toad too. Oof. Yeah, you daze or remove one character, that's going to upset the priority already. Might as well go for 2, I suppose.
Just showing that's in the Loki bubble that you've got to pay. Just taxing him an extra power there. I think Valkyrie did a Warrior of Legend Dragon Fang, and they've just realised she should have paid 1. And then she would pay 3 again to charge, if that's what she's doing. Or she's going to move over and pay 2 to throw a car at Toad. Maybe that's more likely to guarantee 3 damage there. Let's see what Toad does. Oh no, she is charging.
Yeah, I think it would be a charge.
Yeah. 4 hits, no blocks. Yep, that's a pretty solid activation there from Valkyrie. KOing one character and dazing another one that's holding an extract, and then she's going to pick up that extract herself and turn on 1 power. Very nice.
Wow, that was everything's coming up Millhouse, as they say.
So we're going to have to see a bit more of an aggression from Morgan here, and the fact that Thor got pushed back is going to limit that.
Yeah, blunts that.
Valkyrie is looking angry. So it looks like Okoye is just out of bodyguard range of either of the targets that Valkyrie did up. So
it's not ideal. No, I mean, Storm looks like a juicy target here, but do you think it might be better to try and go for Angela and take her out while you've got a chance before she medpacks?
exactly that. I'd go for Angela before she med pack. She's the
Mm.
much more impactful character. They're both carrying extracts, and there are other characters who can go for Storm. So I
Hmm.
think the big opportunity here is into Angela.
I would agree. Is it still Pat's activation? Has he kind of released control yet? I'm wondering if he's thinking of playing Vibranium Shielding with his priority here.
He has put a tick on Valkyrie, but maybe he's going, just let me think before we pass the turn.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize it was Vibranium Shielding is only for Black Panther or Shuri.
Yeah,
So Storm can't play it. So it's not just Wakanda characters. Maybe
no.
that's why you don't see it as often. Like if it was any Wakanda character, it would be a much better card, I think.
Well, again, in a constructed, you can guarantee you're playing Shuri,
Hmm.
whereas she got in this format. And it's quite often played for Black Panther for one, just to increase his survivability. So it only affects him, but it gives him that sort of invulnerability tech for a round when you need him to survive. It just makes him even more annoying to get rid of.
He is certainly one of the most durable characters in the game.
So
You got
we've got
Asgard.
Loki healing to Asgard,
Yep.
healing a damage rather than removing the incinerate.
I think he's far enough back. It's probably a safe decision there. Who's he really threatened by? Storm at this point?
Yeah, that's not
Maybe
very.
Panther. Maybe.
With a move and a pounce, yeah, I can see that. But I think this is probably Valkyrie activating. I remember with Asgardian, you don't have to be. Oh, he's just looking at Loki. It doesn't have to be the character you activate that uses the Asgardian leadership. It can be any character from the team that haven't used it yet this round.
Yep. And it does have to be at the start of your turn though.
Yeah.
So you can't go and activate a character and then come back and heal after you see what happened. This is
So
a hefty decision
yeah,
point here. That was a
just thinking about it, but is he even if he dazes Angela before she activates, now that will lose him priority, won't it? No two, no, it won't. It won't lose him priority. Because Valkyrie took out two characters, he
mm-hmm.
can have to take out one character before they activate, and Morgan will still get that.
That's right.
That won't go too badly. He's activating the Valkyrie.
Yep.
Put the tick on first. Maybe that's for us. This looks like a strike. Just a regular strike by the looks of it into an ice second. A little below what you'd
Should
like, but
Angela have an incinerate token on her? She was there at
she
the start of the turn, right?
should. And she has rolled. Oh, that's two dice, so that's
Oh, dice roller cleared. I think there might have been like an issue with the dice, maybe.
Or maybe they did incinerate tokens before the spiders. Maybe Pat chose it that way around. So Thor and Angela never had incinerate tokens.
Yep. Um, yeah,
This
Thor does
looks like
not have one right now, so that's probably what happened there.
another attack. So it looks like, given that it's two dice, this looks like this is into Storm.
Did we?
She is incinerated.
Right. Okay, that's where it is. So we're attacking Storm, not
Yeah,
Angela, like we thought.
interesting choice.
Maybe Valkyrie's hoping to get the daze,
Yeah, that's a day
grab the
Storm.
spider and run backward. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that resets up to kind of the points parity. But I don't think she escapes the attentions of Angela by doing that.
No, but it can. Requiring that move from Angela makes her much less likely to daze. And Valkyrie on the healthy side here has six HP, so it's just gonna make it that much harder. It's not an easy maneuver for Pat to then go and reclaim that spider or get to Angela and deal with her. Although, do you go for the Travis play and just double down and try to kill Angela? So we got enough power for a second action to be a Dragon Fang. That would be a big damage roll into to Angela. It's possible.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she has a second action left. I think that attack roll did go in and Storm blocked it, or maybe took one. Yeah, I think Storm took one off the first attack and then four off the second
Gotcha.
attack. So I think those are the two actions that Valkyrie took.
Now it makes sense.
And then maybe that makes sense why she didn't pick up the spider, because then
Ooh, we're trying to get maybe if Angela rolls no blocks here, there's a
Yep.
daze.
This is a throw Okoye going into Angela. Uh, Again, yeah, if she whiffs on the defense dice, then that's a daze to Angela.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a brace because I don't think Pat can afford to lose that activation at this point.
I'd agree.
Yeah, you don't want to risk that on dice. The chances that you roll 0 blocks and just lose your Angela activations would be brutal.
Yeah, it skews this turn heavily if that happens.
Yeah, just don't roll. Play it safe. Brace to me always kind of feels better when you're able to use it for both characters that are kind of being slammed into each other.
Yeah.
2 for 1. All right, so we've got on Morgan's side we've got Thor and Loki ready to go still, and on Pat's side we have a plethora of choices: Angela, Panther, and Okoye. I think we're probably gonna see a conservative Okoye activation. Maybe just punch Valkyrie. You've kind of allowed Okoye to be within one of that back portal
Yeah, I
without
think
having to
we're
move.
seeing Okoye shooting Valkyrie twice is what I'm see this just generate those 2 power
Mm-hmm.
bodyguard for Angela twice. Then
So we've got a crit in there. Probably doing Dora Milaje reroll and maybe
we
Wakanda reroll.
probably will. Yeah, he's going for the Wakanda reroll.
There's no blocks on Morgan's side showing, I think. So this is straight damage. So you'll get that power back if you hit through that Wakanda reroll.
It's not a strike. It's the I'm pretty sure this is the guaranteed 1 power.
Oh yeah, of course.
Then 4 dice knocked. Both 4 dice, so it could be the strike.
I mean, you're pretty
Ooh,
reliably going to deal 1 point of damage on a 3 defense character, right?
well, here's what we'll see because that was we've got the Wakanda reroll coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see, but no damage. And if Okoye does gain a power, then it doesn't gain a power, so it was the strike.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're the math guy, right? So I think 4 attack dice into 3 defense with no modifications, you're pretty reliably able to give to deal out 1 damage with a
But
strike, right?
she's got a built-in reroll as well, hasn't she?
Right.
So
So I'm thinking like it's kind of just a net game. You're either going to roll into the second point of damage and you're going to profit, or you're going to deal the same amount of damage and get the same amount of power as you would with using the vibranium spear blast. So in that condition,
it's a, it's a
maybe the strike's better.
72% chance of dealing at least 1 damage. So with
Those
still
are
those
some good
attacks,
numbers.
you're kind of like 50%, yeah, but then you've got a high upside if you do more than 1 damage. You're
Right.
at about 50% to do 2 or more damage. Yeah, 49% to do 2 or more damage. So I can see that's a calculated risk there, and it didn't pay off for Pat. I don't think there's a lot in it either way. There's quite small margins.
Yeah. Yeah, and failure doesn't really seem terribly consequential in that circumstance.
No, no. And as the dice fell, it turned out to be the wrong decision, but I can totally understand the decision-making process that he went through. Interestingly, he's abandoned this spider because Okoye could have gone and got a spider, but maybe he didn't like 3 health Okoye out in front of the Thor and a Loki. Like, I think I can understand that
I
now.
would I would I would have been hesitant to move that to make that move
Yeah.
myself. Bitter Rivals is still in play, but Thor Thor can definitely still smash some Okoye in there.
Hasn't been that impactful with Bitter Rivals yet.
I mean, it was worth a guaranteed days. So
I guess, yeah. And Angela had plenty of power and often doesn't have good ways of spending it, so I don't mind it. I wonder if there'll be a situation where you're like, this would have been a much better Bitter Rivals spot when Angela is up the table in the face of like Loki and Thor, for example. I can understand wanting to stack the odds to make sure you get rid of that Shuri.
yeah, it's all about securing that advantage and then trying to do it to capitalize it later. So Angela into Valkyrie looks like here.
Yeah.
Got a good attack roll. It's 5 hits showing already.
Yeah. Um, Dazed Valkyrie.
Ouch. She was not carrying an extract, I don't believe so. But
No,
we do
but
get to place within 2, and this is
still
where
explode.
Angela
And
tries to scoot up the board, I think.
then Angelic Assassin up and have a go at Loki, who doesn't have enough power to fix stuff. Maybe.
It's a good move for her. And if you got any power left over, you try for that med pack, probably.
So I think Pat is considering his options here because that kind of commits him to a certain line of play. If he's going that way, he's got another action, so he can always go up there, have a look at it, do some measuring, and then decide to bring her back.
I like
But
that
as
about
things
Angela.
stand,
She's maneuverable enough just with her movement template that she can take those risks, like you said. So you can kind of get that measurement in play and then see what your options are. And now that he knows, yes, I can spend and I can get within range 2, then he can go for it. But if that had turned out to be a bad option or not going to work out, he always has the
yeah,
option of getting backward behind that car again.
you can do the place and then decide to do some other things. So we're going to go. This is a bonus attack triggered from from Angelic Assassin. Wow, some
Oh
more
my
great dice from
goodness!
Angela.
Oh no!
She's bringing it home for Pat.
If only Loki was on his injured side, canceling those crits.
Well, even then, it's still going to be. I don't think that crit rolled into anything, did it? So an incinerated 2 dice Loki is now going to look and decide whether he wants to I am a god with his 2 dice against those 5 damage he's facing down.
If you block 2 here, you still
Then you still
daze.
go back. Yeah.
Oof. I wouldn't use it.
Nope, I don't think he did. He didn't. But that is a dazed Loki. Man, there's a lot of dazed and KO stuff on Morgan's side of the board right now. Having said at the beginning of the round how I thought that maybe Morgan was in a good situation from attrition, that has definitely flipped this round.
Yeah, I agree.
What we need now is we need a monstrous Thor activation. I'm not quite sure what he's going to do, but for Asgard into Angela, smash Angela. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see Angela medpack herself now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She's got plenty of power to use it, and kind of being stuck out in the middle there, definitely a good time.
And the even though Loki's dazed,
Oh my god, she still has another action.
oh yeah,
Oh, that's not ideal.
and
If you're Morgan. Wow.
and that's so in a queer bodyguard range. It's always nice to do that. And yeah, paying 3 power to play medpack.
Man, if I'm Morgan right now, I got my head in my hands going, what am I doing with this game?
Sorry, 2 power. 2 power to medpack.
Things have gone poorly at this point.
Yes. I don't feel like I can pin down any one particular thing. Maybe lack of aggression. Maybe he needed to chase the game more, having priority for the whole game. That maybe the attrition was always going to more likely swing his way. And Pat has had some really good dice rolls, which you can't account for, but he's been able to take advantage of those really well.
I think that this situation is kind of the sum of its parts. I don't think there was any one single die roll or event that led to this. I think it was just, like you said, there were some good rolls repeatedly, right? And it's just kind of working out.
On the flip side, Pat is going to score 5 this round and go to 12. Seems like the most likely outcome.
2 secures, 3 spider infected.
Yep. So Morgan is going to come back with a whole bunch of impactful characters with a whole bunch of power, and have the option to wrestle this game back into his control.
Yep, he's not down and out completely.
Yeah,
he needs to keep his head cool, not tilt out, and there's a game here. Especially, he's got bitter rivals loaded up, and any one of his characters will be loaded with power to spend it. Heck, even Toad could afford it.
Yep.
From anywhere on the board.
Although I strongly suspect that an early activation for Pat will be to remove Toad from the board with Valkyrie. Just go, nope. You only have 3 characters now, because even then that limits the potential for Morgan to hold spiders, because you can only hold 1 spider each. He just will then only ever be able to hold 3.
Right.
So removing character count I think it's going to be high up on Pat's priority list.
Yeah, and I spoke to that at the beginning of the game, saying that I always like to have the more bodies, but you do have to make sure that the bodies you're taking aren't so fragile that they're gonna fall over to a stiff breeze, and then you don't have them for the late game.
Rocket, Wong, Shuri, those kind of characters.
Yeah, exactly. Toad. He's a great extract runner, but if
He's
you can corner
yeah,
him, if you can corner him, he can go down pretty easily.
yeah. Once you've managed to injure him, his yeah. Flip side is not very good.
Do you think this is a play to try and well, I mean, you're obviously going for shock here, right? And maybe to reduce the risk of Toad, getting ripped off the board initially by Valkyrie by debuffing her attacks.
Very possibly. I mean, it's going to do that.
Yeah, and Thor's already got a spider,
Look
so he
at what
can't pick that one up.
what other options did Thor have? Angela is so far away. He
Yeah.
could maybe. He probably couldn't even from where he was move for Asgard and be within 2 to smack her. And even if he did, he's not going to take her down. It's very, very unlikely.
And with Panther still to activate, there was no sense
Yeah.
in you double moving to the center flaming portal because you could just get pushed off easily.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Pat's still holding on to Wakanda forever. He still hasn't used it.
Right.
Um, but he looks like he's bringing Panther back into the center, maybe to try and leverage that shielding to try and weather some of the storm that Morgan's going to be unleashing on him. Downside is now Pat has ceded priority. Morgan will get to activate before Pat can put the shielding up because it's an active card.
And going into Panther will be incinerated as well. So I think that this will be the if I were Morgan, it would be my bitter rival's turn coming up.
Absolutely, I think it's got to be. He's got to throw everything out this to try and otherwise Pat only needs to score 4 points to win the game.
You want to leave it on the table this round. You gotta get back into this game and make a good fight out of this. So we'll see how the dice fall in that respect.
I think the worst thing for Morgan would be if Thor gets moved back by a spider again. That's going to really.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know about the individual measurements involved, but I might have tried to move Thor a little bit further forward myself, just to like the far reaches of range 1 from the portal towards the center, just to try and alleviate some of that movement in case.
And Morgan has only scored 2 then. Yeah, 1 portal, 1 spider. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But we saw 1 swing turn, and this game does kind of have a rubber band effect to it. So I feel like there's definitely a chance that this turns around.
Look at all that power on Morgan's side. He's got some really big things. Loki's got great ways to spend power. Valkyrie's got great ways to spend power. Thor's actually power.
Power buckets are so green.
There's Thor getting pushed away by a spider.
And so it begins. The one character that you have a spider on never fails.
Yeah, I think you're right. We'll see Toad's bit of rivals thing. I mean, potentially Storm. Storm might be a good character.
Because if you KO her, it's gone.
True, but I think what you're interested in is Angela. Angela is the piece here that throws the Koye away, and then removes that bodyguard potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be doing all kinds of Warrior of Legend, Dragon Painting.
Right. Huh. Loaded up with 10 power. Yeah, she's got anything she wants on deck at this point.
Just need to throw Koye away because Angela has kindly moved into a position away from Koye.
Right. And we're getting the Incinerate tokens out now. We're going to see one on to Loki as well here. Yep, there we go. And with first activation, do you just Asgard to remove that? Probably. There's not much else you can spend it on.
Yep. If you remember, yeah. Just measuring Koye here. I think so. Storm is within 3 of Koye, so. Rather than throwing a Koye away, you throw it Angela. Do one more storm.
Yeah, you could put the Bitter Rivals on a Koye. You can have Valkyrie pick her up and slam her head into this car, moving her closer, and then it applies to all the characters in the middle of the board.
That's true, but the key thing with throwing the foray, I think, is going to be getting Angela out of bodyguard range.
Mm.
And if you don't put it on a Quayo, then if Quayo does bodyguard, because she's incinerated, she's going to be rolling one dice. So she can count all the blanks she wants, but she's only got one dice.
Oh god. And Valkyrie's Flurry can go into a different character. Is that right?
Right. So,
So you could Dragonfang and Daze Okoye with the first one, and then move on to, yeah, that definitely has the coverage. He's seeing what you're seeing now, I think. Yeah, so you could
and
take the Dragonfang into Okoye and move your
yeah.
your Flurry attack into Angela after the fact.
Storm's not a major priority. She is loaded up on power, so she can be much more effective than we've seen her be so far this game. She's suddenly been turned on. You know that thing she gets with the lightning flashes in her eyes? That's what.
Do you want to? Do you dare challenge the thunder or something? What's her line?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a comic book guy. I love the
Yeah.
characters, but I don't have that much
Get me
time to
out of
read all
this
those stories.
small. Get me out of this small box. She says that quite a lot.
Oh yeah. Well,
Constantly getting.
she's talking about the dice box, right?
Maybe.
Oh, that's right. I forgot she's claustrophobic, right?
Yeah. So looking at the throw options on Angela, I think, and saying I think Angela into Panther is a pretty strong option, given that both of them are carrying spiders. That's going to move Angela out of bodyguard range, do some chip damage into Angela, and maybe a bit more than just chip damage into Panther.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the incinerate doesn't matter for a dodge roll. He does have Wakanda rerolls on dodge rolls, but so
Yep.
I mean he's still pretty sturdy for that dodge. But Pat's brace for impact has been spent, so
Yeah.
there's no
So we're going
guaranteed
bitter
alleviation.
rivals. Looks like he's putting it next to Angela. It's interesting. Maybe because he's then going, well, Angela's going to be the character I'm going to try and daze, and then you can't move Angela away. Everybody's within three of her, and it's still active even though Angela's dazed.
Mm-hmm. I do like this, and I do have a question for you. Interested to know your opinions on if say he puts bitter rivals in Storm. Is there
Yep.
is there counterplay? Maybe not in this particular scenario, but just in general. Like, how much do you think about taking that character that got the bitter rivals hit slapped on them and just running them away and removing them from the situation?
Yeah, it's very strong to just completely cancel that card, and especially if they're carrying an extract, and you can just go, well, that's fine. They can just go over there and score a point and be safe.
Right. And then
It's something that would definitely cross my mind. I think the downside of Storm, the upside of Angela is you can daze her. He's going to be trying to daze her, and
right.
then she's there. Whereas if you go for Storm, she could move away, and if you do want to attack into her and you KO her, then the bitter rivals is gone.
I agree. I think the best application for bitter rivals is if you can put it on a character that's going to be in the middle of the action and daze that character so they stay there and can't be moved around.
So it looks like he's changing his mind, thinking about who's going to go on and is putting it next to Storm. Storm is within three of everybody he wants to attack.
I
Yeah.
like this better, and I know we just talked about the counterplay involved, but I like this better for this particular situation because Angela is at full HP, and like you said, I think Morgan needs a big play to get back in this game, to claw his way back up, and taking Angela out of this equation for this turn might be the ticket to doing that. And there we go. The Loki is getting the incinerate removed by the Asgard leadership, like I was saying earlier. There's not much else to do with that, and you kind of want to use it every turn if you can. Calm before the storm. Maybe it looks like there's that throw you were talking about. That removes the bodyguard possibilities. It might apply some damage here and there. And just kind of make your path to dazing Angela that much easier. There we go. For those of you watching at home, if you press the T as in, I don't know, technology on your keyboard. And you can press a model into the table in Tabletop Simulator and drag it around, and that helps position things precisely a little bit more easily.
Sorry, I just stepped away there for a second, but I'm back now.
No problem. So we saw that throw that you were talking about, Angela getting slammed into the back of Panther here, and it looks like we've applied the 1 damage from Angela here, but Panther doesn't seem to have taken much. I think.
Yep, hasn't taken anything. Got 3 blocks on the roll there. Very nice. But it's still the right thing to do, I think.
Right, and then I think Valkyrie can just go and tool her up with the combination of attacks she can make. There's 3 power spent, looks like. 8 down to 5, going for a...
Dragon Fang.
Dragon Fang. No Warrior of Legend, though. Maybe he's hoping to bring it home with the next attack.
2 block from Angela, but this looks... That's a strong attack. Got the flurry.
Yeah, 4 already. And 5 with the crit.
Yeah.
3 damage sticking leaves.
One contra reroll coming in. So you might as well. Got lots of power on Angela, but to no avail.
Posting up 3 damage already. That'll be 2 HP left on Angela. And bleed.
Valkyrie at 8 power, and she's got the flurry still to come.
I think that was the opening of a Dragon Fang, so that's not going to generate power, right?
Oh, you're quite right. Yeah, of course. It does generate a bleed, which has gone on Angela.
Oh, we're putting the flurry into Okoye? That's interesting. She's going to be rolling that 1 die. Oh, it's a skull. Oh, no. Oh, it's a big attack, too. This will certainly fuel Valkyrie back up.
A bunch of power. So we talked about Morgan having a big comeback play. It's looking quite a lot like he's going to daze 2 characters here. And maybe even with his last attack, he's going to go into Storm and get her pretty close to being removed.
I like that they use the Drax token to represent bitter rivals here.
He's looking at Storm. So plenty of power for another Dragon Fang, probably a Warrior of Legend Dragon Fang. She's already thrown, so you might as well throw the house at this. You can't Warrior of Legend the flurry attack because there isn't a window to use that active superpower.
Right, that's a gap, right, that a lot of players may fall into. But you do have to pay attention to those symbols on the character cards to make sure that they're not being used at the wrong times. Active superpowers must be used during your activation, but they cannot be used to interrupt other things happening. That's the place for reactive superpowers, which is like the lightning bolt symbol.
Considering moving,
she's certainly got the power to charge, kind of get herself back to safety.
Right, so, and put her on the point to score. Then that solves the problem of who goes on that middle point. Yep, okay.
Seems great.
Right. The charge is good, yeah.
And, wow. With Incinerate on Storm, you could charge into another Dragon Fang here. You could rip Angela out, and then probably daze Storm, too. Or you could daze Angela and then remove Storm,
I think that's possible. I think I'd be more inclined to flurry into Panther, though, with the only 2 defense dice, with the Incinerate and the Bitter Rivals.
Yeah.
And he was out of 2 on Panther where Valkyrie was standing on the car.
Oh, it looks like the first attack might go into Panther. I was just considering this. Do you use the big attack from Dragon Fang into Panther and then just try to squeak the 2 damage through onto Angela after the fact?
Yep, that looks like
it's a bit riskier,
but it's got a much higher upside.
Yes, right. The payoff. You got to risk it for the biscuit, as Sung Tzu would say.
Oh, this is, if that comes up hit, look, it's really paid off for him. He's got the flurry. He's got the one-hit punch, one punch man, daze.
I love that cartoon. It's so good.
Man, this Valkyrie is just, bringing the game back into contention for Morgan.
She's a spiky girl.
And then she's going to go, well, that's 2 characters that I've dazed. That's not enough. Let's flurry into Angela and make it 3.
Let's go for broke. That's right. Panther drops the spider near to the others. Close enough for Valkyrie to pick it up after the fact. Whew. What a turnaround.
And
Get your Twitch clips ready. This is the spot.
only 2 hits. So we've got a crit in there. 3
Yeah.
dice defense from Angela from Bit of Rivals.
There's a
Blocked
crit.
1.
That's not.
Well, there's a crit, yeah, and there's a Waconder roll probably coming in on this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see that Waconder roll.
Did we? Oh no, we can't have a Warrior of Legend on this because it's after the Dragon Fang.
Yeah.
Oh, it might not get the job done.
They've taken that crit roll out because of the Loki bubble.
Oof.
So they realised that and caught that.
Okay. Good.
But no re-rolls against Angela. Not that Morgan's got any without Sherry being there. But
To 1
but now
damage.
Angela's got,
No.
yeah, she's bleeding, so he's got a tricky choice. She might essentially be staggered there. So it's very likely Pat's going to have to clear that bleed.
Yeah, there's no more healing cards available, so he can't just like med pack and kind of get around it. And there's no Asgard healing ability on that side of the table, so that does kind of turn into a stagger if he wants his character alive. She's holding an extract, so certainly you do.
Valkyrie did pick up the spider, so
Yep. So now she's got that extract on her as well. She's worth 2 points just sitting where she is.
yeah. But it's
That is rough for Pat here.
that was a big activation.
Yeah,
so that's
this
Valkyrie
is
doing Valkyrie things.
that's right. Who needs Magneto? You still got Valkyrie to blow up the world here.
Yeah.
I'm incredulous that all of this terrain is still on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, with Thor and Angela there, you'd have thought more of it would have been flying around. The
That's
Valkyries
right.
throwing cars. Yeah, we've had, what, 1 car thrown and that's it?
Pat's like, I
Yeah.
just designed this for it. Don't wreck it.
Yeah.
All right, so with that bringing Angela's activation to a close, I think with Pat's looking down Angela with with that bringing Valkyrie's activation to a close, I think with Pat looking down, staring down the barrel of the gun here with Angela 1 HP, it's going to be, I mean, I would have the knee-jerk reaction of using her before she dies. I'm interested to see what solution Pat comes up with here.
He hasn't got the option of moving up Okoye to bodyguard because Okoye's been dazed.
Right. Now, I know when you summon the rulers automatically, they just kind of flop out wherever. It's kind of random which direction they get dumped on the table in. But if that ruler was just summoned there and it just randomly went over there, that kind of looks like a good move going after Toad over there, sitting behind the car.
No, he's making sure Angela's outside of 3 of Storm for a bit of rivals and just kind of taking it back. I wouldn't be surprised to see the second action clearing the bleed.
Right. Yeah, I mean, she would have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she loses her points.
Pat's playing for points. He only needs 4 to win.
And that puts her pretty far away from any of the other characters that Morgan still has to activate, which are Toad, Loki, and Thor back at this half of the table.
I think Toad would be where I'd be looking if I was Morgan next, because he could potentially win this round. It's not impossible for Toad for him to have all of the extracts, well, 4 of the extracts and 3 points. So he could be thinking, I'm going to turn this around so much that I win it this turn. I think if he doesn't, Pat's going to be quite well set up because he's going to have priority. He's going to have Black Panther doing a whole load of stuff in the middle of the board. Morgan's best shot at winning this game is to try and win it this round.
Yep, certainly.
So that's why I would be going with Toad before Pat can activate Valkyrie and take that Toad option off, which that will stop Pat, and that'll stop Morgan from winning this.
Right. I think Morgan's probably going to realize that. I mean, certainly you kind of have this ebb and flow to Marvel Crisis Protocol, and when I play it with that I go, you go activation order, I always just kind of try to evaluate what I think might be the best move for my opponent, and then try to say, well, is there a way I can activate my character that removes that option from their playbook? Yeah. Do I just get away?
He's sitting on 3 power is perfect for a hop and a pickup and extract, so he's going to move, hop, and then
probably grab that spider in the center of the table and then jump over the street booth.
Yeah.
Okay, we got
Yep.
Toad activating.
Yep.
There's a check mark went down. Oh, we're getting an attack. He's going to try and scrap.
The other way to get a point on Toad is to take out Valkyrie. She's only got 4 health left, so it's not impossible.
And you can apply a incinerate with the first attack, too.
Yep. 3 hits, 3
Condition
blocks, so
goes
nothing,
down.
nothing
Oh,
through
no, that's
there.
not what you want to see. Uh-oh. Now, do you run or try and push her? Has he got a 4 dice builder on Toad?
Trouble is, he hasn't got the ability to go and get that spider anymore because he hasn't got the power for the hop because he spent it on the spit
Yeah.
acid attack.
Yeah, he
So I
committed
think
one
he's
direction.
committing to this. Yeah, he's got to go down this road.
I was thinking getting
4
that
dice,
6 points to win this round was going to be a very tall order for him.
7.
Oh, sorry. 7.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
he needs to get all 4 spiders that he's able to hold and all 3 points. It's possible, but it was going to be a tall order.
Yeah, it was going to require getting this off of Valkyrie, so. Oh,
Or
there's
I
no...
think he could have gone. He could
Ooh.
have gone for that one in the middle.
That dealt a lot of damage, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
He
close.
needed 1 hit on that big spender in the beginning. That's a shame.
Yeah. But now he has got enough power to hop and at least force Valkyrie to charge, which will cost her 3 power because of the Loki bubble. Which doesn't get the crits. But I think maybe Pat doesn't need to go down that road anymore. This is guaranteed now to go to next round.
Right.
If Pat scores just those 2 off Angela and a back point, that puts him in a really strong position for the last round.
Yeah, and I see this happening a lot in Marvel Crisis Protocol games, especially when you play for the strategy of surging ahead on victory points early or getting your swing turn early. And if you can just kind of hold off your opponent in the last 1 or 2 rounds and squeak out a couple of victory points after your swing turn and set yourself up for the win the next turn. We had a lot of that strategy, or I used a lot of that strategy when playing my defenders in season 4. You slam down that extract play early, and just try and hold on to that lead long enough to pull out the game. So, like you said, Pat scoring 2 points here ish, 2 or 3 points, going up to 14, maybe 15 points if he's really lucky. Where Valkyrie and Angela survive here. That sets him up for victory. All he needs is 1 point to get to 16, and would have to make sure that Morgan stays under him.
Yeah. Interesting to ask Morgan about that at the end, whether he saw just the more conservative toe play. Maybe he felt he needed to push it in order to take that. That would have taken Valkyrie out of the game. Maybe he felt that was a big enough swing that it was worth the risk. And he felt he was behind the game already and needed some dice to go with him in order to catch it back up.
And he almost pulled it off, too. And I think the only thing that stopped him was a really good defense roll on Pat's part. A high spike on that first defense to block the 3 damage coming in on the incinerate attack.
Slightly below curve, attack roll. Yep.
But then, after the fact, getting 3 damage on 4 dice was pretty hot.
Yeah. But I think Pat's thinking the right thing here. He doesn't need to go after Toad anymore. Leave Toad alone. Get Valkyrie back to relative safety.
Agreed.
I'd almost put her back on that point if it looks like she should be able to reach that back point. Whether there's a spot for her to end on, maybe on top of the car. No, okay. He's ignoring me entirely and deciding to move to. Maybe his thought process there might be Toad is a potential extract holder. It's reducing Morgan's ability to. If I've got Panther who can push someone off, I'm going to be having some control elements in the last round. All I've got to do is score more than Morgan next round and I win. So by reducing Toad, it's just limiting his ability to score points. Right. And in one hit there, it looks like Toad has been dispatched.
Wow. And then we see Valkyrie retreating to a better position on the side of the board. So unlike the Gamma Wave scenario, there's no penalty for being away from the center here. You're just not contributing to your point scoring. But with those point scoring being a little low, 1 point for each of the demon portals, maybe you can skip it. Your character runs
So
away to the side of the board, gets a little bit more safety.
I'm not sure I love that. I think bringing Valkyrie back would have been a stronger play because if Angela does get taken out, so you only need to do 1 point of damage to Angela to take her out, then Pat's looking down the barrel of scoring no points. Or only scoring 1 point. He's going 13. And Morgan could happily score. He's got 2 spiders. He could get 2 points. He could go up. He could go score 4. He could be on 13 as well. If Loki managed to pick up Loki being a spider, he could be on 14. So by not bringing Valkyrie back, I think it's opened the opportunity for Morgan to last round with the lead. I think Pat's still probably in the driving seat because it's going to have priority.
I want
And
to
I
see
think
a Rainbow Bridge here.
Yeah.
Loki jumps up with Rainbow Bridge and goes after Angela. Cheeky.
Or Thor could do something similar. He could move and Rainbow Bridge.
That's right. I wonder.
Angela is outside of 3 of Storm.
Okay, we did check that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Angela was positioned there.
Was just going to ask that. Yeah, I think there's. You can Rainbow Bridge. You get Thor and Loki forward. Thor can take out Storm, and then you've got no activations for Pat.
That's true, but even if he doesn't, he could Rainbow Bridge Thor forward. That might get him to within range 2. Strike Storm. If he gets a wild, he pushes Storm back into the car, which brings Angela back into Bitter Rivals range.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So I don't know whether that checks out. I think the 3 plus the base is probably outside of 2 of Storm, which is a shame. But yeah, Thor's been just a little bit power starved. There's been some really important hammers he's been throwing out, but that means he hasn't been striking. He hasn't made a single strike attack this game. And having that 5 threat piece, not generating power and starting that chain of high damage that he's capable of. I wonder if that's at least part of the reason why Morgan's not in the place he was hoping he would be.
Maybe. And I mean, there's always the fact that Thor has been pushed by the spider effect at every turn, right? So he certainly hasn't been in a position to do what he wants. I think maybe also on the table here is a double move, and you throw Storm into the car.
But then, yeah.
And then just make it so you're kind of mandating that
Bridge,
Pat.
Loki? Yeah, Loki can Rainbow Bridge and then do some stuff into Angela. Yeah, I can see that.
You get the throw guaranteed that way.
Yeah.
It does. It's certainly not going to kill Storm, though, right? Because she would only take 1 damage from that collision. So that means that you're giving Pat the opportunity for Storm to just bug out, and then that is kind of wasted. I don't know.
And also, as part of bugging out, she could potentially, depending on where she ends up, maybe move, throw Valkyrie off the point. She's got her throw online now, and then bug out again. So then give Morgan harder decisions about, okay, well, who's going to score these points? It's reducing down that total.
Yeah, I think you want to go and risk the strike here. You want to roll some dice. I don't see it being.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in range is the only thing. So he's looking at where he can move to. Valkyrie's definitely out. So.
Well, he does have enough to Rainbow Bridge and throw a hammer.
Take a Rainbow Bridge and throw a hammer, and then take out Valkyrie that way. That's fun. I feel that taking out Angela is going to be more impactful, though. Yeah. That's 2 VPs that she's sitting on at the minute.
I mean,
and if you Rainbow Bridge, you can also bring forward Loki and threaten Loki in that center area.
Yeah, there's more moving parts to this equation, but I agree with you. The payoff is higher, and that might be what he needs. At this point, Patsing at 12 points. Anything that he gets him closer to, securing an easy win by just, finishing things off next turn. So you want to keep that scoring for Pat's side as low as possible in this occurrence, I think. And it looks like we're measuring 4 from Angela to see Loki being able to get there. I think Loki's big spender attack is 4 cost or 4 range, right? Yeah, illusions is range 4.
Yep. So we've got 3 power being spent off Thor. So let's see, is this a Rainbow Bridge or is this a for Asgard? This is a for Asgard.
Yeah, I like this because you're still rolling that attack. It's accomplishing the same thing as getting a Rainbow Bridge would. It's about the same maneuver, movement that you can get. But if things go wrong for you, you're very likely to deal at least 1 damage here. So if things go wrong for you, at least Storm is staggered as well.
And what it does is it saves Rainbow Bridge for that last round of the game. Round 5 is going to be the last round of the game. Someone's going to win. And maybe that moves enough of Morgan's pieces back onto points to get the points he needs to get ahead of Pat.
Right. If he's got the characters left.
Yeah. He's choosing to go within 1 with Thor, I think. Has he gone just outside? No, he's gone within. He's gone within 1. So Thor is contesting that point. There's a wild. You always like to see a wild when you're attacking with Thor.
Yep, and a crit as well. Not a great defense roll from Pat.
So that's going to be a dazed, a KO'd Storm after
boy.
she Wakanda reroll. Of course, Wakanda reroll. There we go. So she survives. She clings on 1 after. So she's going to take 3 damage, and then the throw is going to
Deal the 4th.
Deal the 4th. So she's going to cling on in there.
That was a key reroll. That Wakanda reliability coming up. That's why
But Thor's generated a bunch of power, and he can then throw Storm.
Her.
Yeah. Or throw something at her. But the safest thing to do is to throw her into the car.
Yeah, you guarantee getting that damage you need.
But he's got
that also removes bitter rivals. So
that's true. But I think Storm's going to go into Panther. She's going to take 1 from that, and then he's going to throw Storm into either Panther again or into the car to take her off the board.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter, right? Neither the car nor Panther would take damage, and the Storm's dead either way, so she's just removed. Her position doesn't really matter.
And we should see the power. There we go. 3 from the going off 4. Yeah. Checks out.
Hey, Thor showed up to fight.
Bitter Rivals is off the board now.
Oh, that's your Bitter Rival, sorry.
That's still got Thunder Forever and Vibranium Shielding. And Morgan has still got Brace for Impact, Rainbow Bridge, and Odin's Blessing. So I like the way that kind of the Wakanda Forever for Panther moving people around, and the Rainbow Bridge for moving people back. They're kind of looking at each other, going, "Well, if you use yours, I'll use mine."
Panther's going to be at 10 power at the start of next turn. Pat could dump a ton of power into Vibranium Shielding.
Yeah. That's definitely an option. I think turning on Mantle and just going ham on Panther, especially if you're going to Wakanda Forever on Panther's turn,
right,
feels pretty good.
Yeah, and he can do a lot of damage with just his basic claw strikes with both Wakanda Forever and with the Mantle up. So there's a chance that he does all of the control things that he wants, and then still has a boatload of power to spend.
So we're looking at a Rainbow Bridge here. It's what that range 3 is, but Morgan's also thinking about that spider. So he's going to go and grab a point, get a spider. So if he just then went and sat on the back portal, for example, which is maybe what he's looking at given the positioning he's just done there, then we're looking at 5 points for Morgan to 3 points for Pat. So that Pat goes to 15, Morgan goes to 14.
Yeah, that's not a large point disparity. And if you can keep Pat scoring low in this coming turn, and then tie him, maybe, you can keep it going another round if needed. Though I don't think that's in your benefit because your characters are dwindling.
You say that, but Thor's completely unhampered. Loki's got a bunch of power for all his defensive tech, and next turn Valkyrie's going to be on 3 power, so she's going to have Odin's Blessing online. It's not as easy as you think to get rid of these Asgardians.
It's true. I forgot that Odin's Blessing was still on deck here. And Brace.
Yeah, it's definitely relevant with Angela running around.
Yeah, so maybe you do try and play for a tie and squeak out another round.
Then again, I think we might see Pat regretting his positioning of Valkyrie a little bit here. I think she's out. There's 1 round left, probably. Maybe we get a tie, but there's probably one round left. We're going to the last round.
Right. When I say tie, it's
Ooh,
like all of
ooh,
these
plus
things give you
3.
one individual point. So there's plenty of places where, those differences can squeak out to somehow, all you need is one person to not pick up a spider, and then the points are different than you might expect them to be.
So going into the last round, would you rather be Pat or rather be Morgan?
Oh my god, that's a tough choice. I think Morgan has a strong position here with the tactics cards available, and with Angela being at 1 HP. I think not dazing her last round might have been a good move. I mean, for crying out loud, Thor can chuck a hammer at her and she might go down.
That's true. But it does kind of force Pat's hand that he can't go early with Panther, which means that Panther might just get removed off the board. He's much easier to KO on his injured side than he is today's on his healthy side.
Yeah. It also makes
Mm.
bringing Angela back into the fight very risky here.
That's true. I mean, it might be valid just to run away with Angela.
Yeah, because all you need is that 1 point, so she can just scoot and
Okay, well, this is her being moved by a spider by the looks of it.
and Valkyrie also, is kind of out on the wings here. So if you can just kind of get away with those two characters, maybe you lock in 2 points right there.
So it's going to advance her to within 5 so that she's within hammer range. But she doesn't
Oh my
have a
god,
point.
outside of range of Okoye's bodyguard, that's not great.
Yeah. Yep. So that was a big roll there on that spider. So it'll be for Valkyrie. Valkyrie is staying where she is.
Pat has priority.
Yeah, so we'll see some. We've done the incinerates already. Pat chose to incinerates first,
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't see which character that was. But one of Morgan's characters not moving. Gone up. Not moving either. And the last one does get moved. Is that Thor again? Do you reckon? Looks like it's Loki.
Oh yeah, okay. I was like, that would have been a ball buster, right? All
Yeah,
that planning
yeah.
with the range 5 there, and you then you got him moved anyway. Yeah, getting Loki's bubble out of the way is definitely fun, or definitely good. Now things look a lot different.
Okay,
Just
so
two
what does
moves
Pat?
and the game changes.
Yeah, what does Pat need to do to win here? He needs to score the same number of points. So he needs to, if he scores 4 points, he's going to win. Valkyrie is pretty safely scoring him 1, so he needs 3 other points, or he needs to score 3 and limit Morgan to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So dazing a character like Valkyrie seems like a good idea, but getting through that Odin's Blessing is going to be hard.
Yeah,
But
and I'd be considering risking.
Panther's going. He is using Mantle of the Black Panther, I think. Pound. Yeah, and
Uh,
he's
looks like I'm. Oh, I think he pinged Medpack, but he probably meant to ping Wakanda Forever. Because Medpack was used ages ago. But this looks like a Koya attack into Valkyrie with Vibranium Spear Blast from Wakanda Forever. Did Panther have 9 power to start the turn? Or is it 10?
no. I think he spent 2 on Mantle
Gotcha.
before Wakanda Forever.
Gotcha. Yeah. Again, that's an active power. It has to be done on your turn and cannot interrupt something. So you can't interrupt resolving Wakanda Forever. You need to spend for that power beforehand.
So Valkyrie took 1 damage from the Okoye Spear Blast, and now this is Panther's Mantled Wakanda Forever. Did Okoye first X, he knew that Panther was going to push Valkyrie out of range.
Right.
Smart play.
Yeah, that's one thing about Wakanda Forever. It's a very strong card, but you do kind of need to be cognizant of your order of operations when using it.
Yep. So Valkyrie's going to get pushed away. She's been left on 2 health. That's not what you want to see with Odin's Blessing hanging around. Panther's going to get 1 more attack. So if he can keep her within range 2, then that's much better for him, because then the pounce doesn't have to be used to get into range. You can use it. Let's see, I think I'd have gone into the building there, pushed her into the building, because I think then you could get a strike followed by a pounce, so that you can do 1 damage with the strike through Odin's Blessing, and then the pounce, you've got a decent chance of doing 1 with her rolling 3 different dice trying to block.
Yeah, except that Morgan's still holding brace.
He's got brace as well. Of course he does. Yep. So maybe Valkyrie was always going to survive after those first. I know Panther's. He's only made one attack. He's got two attacks, hasn't he?
He's only made a Wakanda Forever attack. He's got two
I
attacks,
don't
yes.
think. Is that easy? Yes, he has. Yes, he's paid 3 power, which was 2 them to 1 for a year. So he's still got 2 actions left. He's taken no actions.
He dealt
So yeah, I
he
think
dealt damage with
putting
us,
him.
right? So as soon as the push is over, we should also see him gaining some more power back.
Yep, he should get 2 power back.
Blink.
Which, if that's not, if that doesn't have Valkyrie within 2, then we're going to see the 2 power being spent before anything else.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. We'll see what the measurement is. I think I would ask to remeasure if I were if I were playing. Oh
Okay.
no! Ha!
So now he's gonna pounce in, which probably which will contact her. So she
Yep.
might better be enough.
I think you
There we
have
go.
to
The
spend
two
brace
brace.
here,
Yep.
and then Panther still has two attacks which he can take to
So
guarantee dazing or guarantee KOing Valkyrie.
yeah, 5 dice reroll all of them. He might consider doing something funky and using the energy attack, maybe pushing Thor around. Possibility.
Oh, that's right. Um, you're banking on a wild trigger there, but
But you've got maybe 2 attacks. Um,
well, with Mantle up, you're pretty reliably gonna roll that one wild, right? All you need is one for Panther, I think, in that case. Yep, explosive
yep.
force, one wild trigger. It would also deal one damage to Thor.
Depends. Thor's probably into of Valkyrie. That looks like
Um, I mean, he could use the energy attack into Thor and get a wild trigger and deal one damage to Valkyrie as well. You're
yeah.
if Morgan's keen on saving Valkyrie's life, it's all going to be pinpricks. It's going to be death by 1,000 cuts, basically. I think he's just leapt himself into range of Loki's bubble, probably. So he won't be able to cash in on crits. It looks like it's
Yeah.
within 4 to me.
Yeah, they just measured that and it is.
Okay.
So this is just a standard strike by the looks of it. And the crits aren't going to roll in. Oh, yeah, he's trying to roll it. But I'm sure Art will catch this. Yeah, he's caught it and taking it out. Yeah.
So we've got
I don't think it matters anyway.
4 successes there. It's
Yeah,
probably
so
going to
that
be an Odin
one of
blessing.
those doesn't count. Yeah, he's taking that one out because they're called the Loki bubble.
Yeah, you're still
So
looking at 2 damage going through.
yeah, it's still going to be enough unless we get an Odin's, which I think we just
Mm-hmm.
saw.
Yep. Card got flipped.
So he takes one. Yep. Panther gains power, and this is probably going to see her off. What that means is he doesn't get an attack to go into Thor.
Right. Or he can energy blast Thor and try to get the 1 damage on Valkyrie.
Yeah, but that relies on the wild. This feels like the much more reliable play.
I agree, and you're not fueling Thor up. He does have his 3 that he likes to have, but giving him any more than that is just gravy, basically.
Yeah. No blocks in there from Morgan, so that's finally KO Valkyrie.
Yeah. She's
She's
a
been a
tough cookie.
little. She was holding a spider, wasn't she? I was just going
Yeah,
straight. Yeah,
Panther gobbled it up immediately. I don't think they even deployed it on the board.
yeah.
Thank you, I'm going to take that. Alright, so Pat did some good work here. He removed a high threat, a big threat character that could deal a lot of damage. There's that vibranium shielding coming in.
Now, I think Thor's very likely to take out Angela, and Panther's activated. Loki Rainbow Bridges in and has got a decent shot at KOing Panther for the game.
Right, especially with illusions, because Panther is kind of weak to the Mystic attacks, right? I think that means on his flip side he can't spend for the extra defense against Mystic.
That's true. And he is incinerated, so he's going to be rolling
2 dice. Ouch.
2 dice. None of his crazy tech.
Not ideal. Looks like we're doing
vibranium shielding as well, and it looks like for
5 power. Wow.
Yeah, Panther's paid a 5 power vibranium shielding.
I like putting the energy tokens on there. That's a good way to represent what you spent on it.
Yep. Top tip.
So how do you respond with Morgan?
I think you've got to try and kill Angela. Thor kills Angela and
Takes that spider.
throws a hammer at her. That should be enough to daze her. The trouble is, you need to also stop Okoye from going and grabbing that spider. You can probably do that just by placing it on the far side of Angela. I don't think Okoye is going to be able to move that and move back. But given that Okoye is dazed, I think he's looking at the Rainbow Bridge, so he could Rainbow Bridge into range and then get 2 strikes into Angela. That's one way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He could Rainbow Bridge in and then strike Angela. If he kills Angela, then strike into Okoye and potentially kill Okoye as well. That would feel really good.
What if
But I
you
think
Rainbow Bridge in, strike Okoye and try and toss her outside, and then throw your hammer at Angela after the fact, or strike Angela after the fact? That would, either way, right? I think the main goal is probably to take down Angela, so you want your first attack to go there.
I agree. He's just measuring out what his
redundancy.
options for Rainbow Bridge are, though. Seeing, yeah, it goes within 4 for the illusions attack.
If Pat's Valkyrie gets away at the bottom of the screen here, that locks in a point and he goes to 16.
So yeah, the game is, unless Morgan only scores 2, or unless they tie, the game's ending this round. But I think, so Morgan's route to victory, daze Angela, maybe Okoye grabs that spider, so that's going to be 2 points. It's all, for me, it's all about Loki dazing Panther, KOing Panther. If Loki can KO Panther, I think the game's Morgan's.
Yeah, it's probably going to come down to that. And I think you want to wait on that activation as long as possible, just to make sure you don't get Valkyrie running into the center or something random to steal a point away from you. But I like Thor going after Angela here, and I think that if you can Rainbow Bridge Thor across that car, you have 2 actions. You could, beat Angela with your hammer, try to KO her or try to daze her. You hit Okoye, maybe she gets thrown, and then maybe you're building enough power to throw Okoye, and you can toss her kind of towards the bottom of the screen here, towards where Pat's Valkyrie is sitting, and that makes it harder for her to run back and get that extract. Even if she does, she can't get on the portal at the same time, probably.
Yeah. If Morgan can take out Angela with 1 hammer throw, which he's in range of, that's what's going on now, then he can strike Panther and potentially throw him closer to Loki.
Oh my goodness. And Panther's already activated, so that's...
Yeah.
He's not going to get away there.
1 block from Angela. And 2 hits.
2 hits.
Going to be a Rakonda reroll. No, there can't be because of the 2 skulls. Oh
no!
Shocker.
Wow.
Shocker. That's a dazed Angela.
Those skulls coming up when you don't want them.
One exactly, yeah. So he's now put it so that Okoye can go and get the spider, but she's only going to score 1 point. So if Panther gets dazed, maybe Valkyrie can double move onto a point. It feels quite far out, though. I think it's unlikely she can get there. So it looks like Pat is going to be limited to 2. All Morgan needs to do is score 4, which is Thor on a point, Loki on a point, each with a spider. So he needs to, if he can take out Black Panther, then so now he's doing the strike into Black Panther, looking for the wild to throw him towards Loki as well as some damage. If he doesn't get the wild, he might generate enough power to throw him towards Loki anyway.
Yeah, you would need to get 2 results in.
Not much damage, but he's going to take 1 from colliding, I suspect. Collide? No, it's just
or he throws for the distance. It's going to be close.
I don't think, because of the position of that building, I think Panther's going to collide with the building. So I think you're better off throwing him into the planter, the size 2 planter then.
I love this piece of terrain. It's a great addition here on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Oh no, the snapping didn't work. Our movement tools and pieces.
I think it was short of hitting the planter. There we go, they fixed it.
I think what happened is that he hit the straighten the tool or bend the tool instead of the push
super
throw.
Tight. That's in there. That's a collision. That's super tight. Damage on Panther. Oof.
And he's not securing anymore.
Yep, that's true. So Okoye is going to go and get a spider, or
Yeah,
she's going to sit on a point. She's going to pick one. She can't do both, I don't think. And maybe she can.
that's a
Mm.
long walk.
And Angela might be just in the way as
Yeah,
well. They did. Morgan did look at measuring that. If we get back onto that centre point, it looks far to me. She wants to just get within two to throw Thor
right.
off. Oof, it's going to be tight, but I
Yeah, you're
feel like
risking.
well,
Well, I mean that alleviates the path to victory that you were just discussing with both Thor and Loki on points, holding an extract. If he can get this to go off and he throws Thor, then Loki has more work to do.
yep. And Thor hasn't got enough to Rainbow Bridge back on.
Right. I think maybe Thor should have earned one extra power. Right? He
No,
dealt
he
one
didn't
damage.
do. No, he didn't do damage. The
Oh, he
damage
didn't
he
do
had
damage.
before.
Sorry, my
Yeah.
mistake.
So I think what Pat's doing here is using the 5 as a proxy for a 3 plus a base plus a medium move. I'd have to check with like Susanna Carlo whether that's the case, but there are some things like that where if you know this is around about the same distance and you can put down a 5, it gives you an idea of whether you're looking on. Hmm. Yeah, because a medium move is 5 inches. So if you do a range 4 from 4, that's the range 3 inches of range 2 plus the 5 inches of medium move, and then you've got 2 extra inches for the bases. I think that's demonstrated to me that Valkyrie is in range of a double move throw of Thor.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. And I think there's another measuring trick, right? If you can use a range 3 ruler, that's approximately the range of a small base character doing a medium move and putting their base on the other side of it.
Yeah, you've got slightly less than, but as long as you know what your tolerances are.
Yeah, it's what's the phrase? Close enough for government work, at least in the United
It's,
States.
I don't know. It's a centimetre and a half out. So it's uh, not as precise as some of the ones like a lot of the time when you're trying to like do a range 4 attack with Doctor Strange, and you can put down a medium movement stick in a range 5, because then that's 2 inches of the bonus and the 4 inches of the attack. So that one works out,
Mm-hmm.
to like 0.8 centimeters. It's really quite tight.
Yeah, it's a little rare that I would say
Oh man,
it's.
Valkyrie can't throw Thor because she doesn't have enough power and she's within 4 of Loki, but
Oh
he's making
no.
sure it's outside of 4. So that's what that 4
Yeah,
measuring was saying. It's making sure he
good
thinks
catch.
Valkyrie's within double move throw. Yeah, that looks very comfortable, and it's outside of 4 of Loki, so he's just making sure he's got the power one. Strong move from Pat here.
Man, we were talking about Valkyrie chickening out and running away. Guess not. She's a
No, I
warrior woman.
thought, yeah, I was worried that his positioning from last round would put her too far out to be relevant, but this is a very relevant thing for her to do.
Absolutely. And hey, Valkyrie generates that 2 power automatically. So, she was tapped out last turn, so but she comes running back in to save the day.
Well, again, we're seeing
Essentially.
the impact of the spider. Loki got moved back there by a spider, didn't he? And if
Yes.
Loki hadn't got moved back, then Valkyrie wouldn't have had enough power to throw Thor.
Yeah, this is one of those games with the spider infected was very impactful, I think. It definitely forced a lot of decisions that that the players were probably
Mm.
not super happy about having to make.
When you think back, that Loki one we just described and the 2 Thor moves, I think it feels like it's hindered more than.
Right. I think that while Pat was carrying some more extracts, I feel like the forced movement from the spiders that detrimented Pat, uh, wasn't as make or break. It wasn't felt as hard as
Yeah.
Thor being put in a corner for most of the match here. Nobody puts baby in a
Um,
corner.
Partly that's Pat's had priority, so he's been able to sequence the incinerate and the movements to his advantage.
That certainly helps as well. And Pat loves doing that. He's the kind of player he just loves holding the reins of priority to try and make sure that he's more in control of the situation than you are. And if you can use that to just squeak out his advantage, then you know, more power to him, basically.
Okay. So the maximum that Morgan can score is three. Three, because Paul's got a... Morgan's going to score 3 and go to 17, so he needs to limit Pat to scoring 2.
Okay, so get this. Loki uses illusions on Panther, hits the double wild, moves Panther to Valkyrie, and KOs her with the splash damage from illusions.
Okay, that's cool. Um, it's like a 20% play, but sure. I think more likely you see Rainbow Bridge. Ugh, it's all horrible.
Yeah, and Thor didn't take enough damage to Rainbow
No,
Bridge back on.
well, he didn't get an attack, and yeah,
Rainbow
he just
Bridge
went
is a
down.
card that I really enjoy, right? It does all of the things that I want it to do, and it's very thematic. I struggle to use it well personally because I feel like it's just ever so slightly too expensive.
He's
To
looking at the range 3 beam here, hitting both Panther and Valkyrie while standing within one of. Gosh, so he's going to have to I am God and hope he rolls godlike against Panther. That's the play.
oh,
Koye looks like Koye's going to get some shots into Thor, but I think she'd be
I
lucky to
don't
take him down.
I don't like that. If you shoot Thor, you can give him a power and then he can Rainbow Bridge.
Not if it's the last activation.
Oh yes, of course. You wouldn't want to do it now. I don't think. Not. Don't give him the opening.
Well, it's Morgan's activation, isn't it? So we've got
Yes, true.
Loki and Okoye, the only two left to go.
You're
So
right.
he's looking. Can Okoye shoot Thor? They've heard of that changing now. It's pretty long odds for Okoye today's Thor, I reckon. He's going to have cover from that car as well, probably.
But yeah, it might be close.
Likely. So that further lengthens the odds. But this is what it comes down to. Can Loki do something impactful? So he's spending 3 for a Rainbow Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be being placed within range 3.
As close to Valkyrie as possible is what it's looking like. And this frees him up to get 2 attacks, right? So he could beam an incinerated Valkyrie, maybe. Huh.
I think possibly Art saying the range 3 measure is what you should be using, so you shouldn't have the range 1 available. So they know
Right.
it's within range 3, haven't put down the range 3, and Morgan's now having to eyeball it.
And he still has enough power to fall back on doing an illusions, I think, right? Yep.
They've got 4, yeah. Um,
I
well,
think maybe you strike first? Question mark? Into Panther? Try to get enough power to use illusions. I am a god.
yeah, what do you do? What do you do?
If
So
illusions,
I am a god strike into Panther. You hope it goes well. That gives you enough to do I am a god illusions
right, you'd only need
into.
to pull out 1 damage from that first attack to get back to 3.
To get back to 3, but you need to KO Panther. Yeah. So we are is using I am a god, and
Mm-hmm.
he's striking into Panther. Yeah. It's got to go well. That's gone well for him, and that he's got that I'm a god has really paid off.
Oh wow.
But two
Yeah, the
blocks from
3
Panther.
blanks is key here.
There's only 2 blocks because he's not counting blanks at the minute.
Um,
So that's
and I think did
6
Panther have?
hits. He's going to take 4.
We
He's done. He's
still have
done an
vibranium
ability
shielding up,
roll.
right? But all of those are
He
blocks, so
does.
it doesn't matter.
No, it's reduced by 1. So
Oh, it's invulnerability. I thought it was cover. My
yeah,
mistake.
no, it's in bun. So that's nice. So Panther has only taken 2 there. 6, block 3, leaves 3. Yeah, reduced by 1, takes 2. Gosh, that's a really funky Panther. Okay, this is an attack going into
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. Illusions likely, so he's
Yeah, it
looking for a
has to
double
be.
wild here.
I think Loki's outside range 3, and his other neutral or his other beam attack, it's only range 3.
Yeah, it's not a great roll, but 2 skulls from Valkyrie means there's no Wakanda coming in this. Yeah, that's a day's Valkyrie. And
No double wild.
scatter the slider to the wind so that Okoye can't grab it and go back onto a point.
Right, you want to make
But
sure she
Okoye,
can't get there in
yeah,
one mover.
Okoye is going to score him 1. Panther's going to score him 1. So Pat's going to go to 17. Currently, Morgan's scoring 3. This is going to 17 all at the minute, going into round 6.
Oh,
So
man.
we talked about the possibility of tying it up.
Yeah, but then who comes out on top after that? You just lost your Valkyrie, right? Panther's messed up, but he's alive. I mean, Loki's not exceptionally sturdy, and he's incinerated. This is dicey. This could go either way.
So Panther's going to have, 3 power? He mantles. I think Panther should be able to deal with Loki, although he's going to trickster away. Oh gosh, trickster, is that an advance? Because if he's wedged up against a building, he might struggle to. Yeah, it's a short
Yes, it
advance.
is.
That's
You
size
cannot
3
you
building.
cannot climb over things, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So if you push, so Loki won't have enough power. So he's Asgardian. He's going to get 2 power. Yeah, so he can just trickster away from the first one. Then pounce. We only get 1 attack into him. That's probably not going to kill him, even with mantle and rerolls and incinerate. Gosh, this is tight.
We have utility cookie showed up for our chat, and he's saying that it looks like Okoye can always stand between secure and infected. I'm not sure I understand the full impact of that, but nope, never mind. I think he was saying that there's a way that Okoye might be able to get to both extracts and also the.
So I think there might be a point in the middle of where that spider infective is, and that's center portal where Okoye will be within 1 of them.
Yeah, it was. I think Morgan was trying to measure that, right, as he was placing the spider infected, try and make sure that there was at least a couple inches in between, so that Okoye couldn't do both. That would have been the nail in the coffin, certainly.
Okoye attack into Thor. Thor's going to have cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good Okoye attack.
Yep, and you also have that free reroll.
Yep, she's not in the Loki bubble.
That's a lot of blocks, though. And he'll turn that other one into cover.
And cover, yeah, so that's 4 blocks.
Crit turns into a fail for Okoye. So it looks like this is not going to deal damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can reroll into 4, but, if you're getting cover, it should just cancel.
Okay. So rather than move and get slider, Pat's just choosing to sit where he is and get another attack to generate more power on Okoye, I guess, and the chance of some chipping to Thor, because maybe his plan is I take out Thor and then it's much harder.
It's not a good roll for Thor here.
He's going to get 2 blocks there from cover, and so he's only going to take 1 damage.
It's certainly a lot worse than his other roll. Oh man, we're going to the next turn here.
Yeah, 17-17. Yeah, they're choosing to knock 10 off the score, so they're both on 7.
Gotcha.
But we know that's 17-17.
Right.
Ooh. Right, how does Pat win then?
You have 2 characters left. 3 characters left. Your
opponent
has 2.
Spider movement on Panther and then Thor and Loki potentially. A spider movement on Thor feels pretty big, pulling him in to just get whomped by Angela. Grace is gone. All the cards are spent now.
Yep.
So Angela's going to whomp. One of them's going to be Odin's Blessings and then throw a size 2 car, maybe this size 3 container, depending on where Thor ends up.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if that happens, then Angela's going to get back a spider. She's going to be sitting far back. She might be able to get on. Got Okoye. Yeah, that's probably strong play. So this is the roll for Thor. This one's kind of big. So Morgan's got priority. It looks like they are. Yep. Thor has got moved and gets moved away. Oh man, yeah, Morgan's got priority. Yes, so it's Morgan's to make the first move. Once again, that's the third time Thor's been moved with that spider. I said at the beginning of the game, choosing who you pick spiders up with is kind of big, and the way that round one played out, and Loki gets moved as well.
No.
The way round one played out, with the interesting opening play that Pat used, he was forced to use Thor, and I think that's hindered him the whole game. Really stopping Thor bringing his force to bear. Panther can he's strong enough to handle some of these spider people. You as Guardians, clearly you're weaklings. You need to get the gym a bit, pump some iron.
Yeah, they don't like being carried off like a sack of potatoes. I feel like Panther would be a bit more respectful about it. Thor would just toss you over his shoulder and run. Pat's covered up his power tokens on the vibranium armor just to show that it's not in play anymore.
So all the cards have been spent. Round 6.
So it's a neutral score, right? You just need 1 point to get ahead and you win.
Yep. It's sudden death.
Yeah, essentially, yes.
So Thor's on 5 power. He's not in range because of that push. He's not in range to for Asgard into anyone. Panther's sitting there with only 3 health left. Do we think Loki goes first to try and dispatch Panther?
What I don't think, if I'm Morgan in this position, what I don't want is Loki dying to Panther. I think that's kind of the nail in the coffin. There's enough dice and movement and stuff involved on the Angela bit up there, and Angela may be tempted to grab a spider. There's a lot of ways that part of the engagement can go, but I think if you lose Loki in the backfield, you're going to be hard-pressed to recover from it.
So he's got 3 power. He can do 6 dice illusions into a 2 dice no cool tech Panther. That feels pretty strong.
It does, and it shakes.
And then if that doesn't work, then he's got a Frost Blast as a backup, 4 dice energy.
Mm-hmm. And it shakes that spider infected. And if he can do it in one action, he can also move back to the secure. That seems pretty great.
Yeah, it seems like a decent opening play. What are we talking? 6.
And how much HP does Thor have left? 4? It's not incredible, but Asgard will make it 5. That's good.
It does help.
That further seems like I would be activating Loki first. If I heal Thor, I want to activate Loki so that I can make sure Panther doesn't kill him. Otherwise, I might have pulled the Incinerate off of Loki.
So the Illusions attack has only got a 36% chance of dazing Panther. So that 6 dice into 2 defense with the Wakanda reroll.
No.
Trying to do 3 damage. So it's 5 up on a dice, isn't it? So it's not great, but if that's your route to victory, if that's your best option, then I can see taking it.
Yeah, you might want to do the math elsewhere just to check it. But it's low, but achievable. The other move I see is maybe Thor doing a move once and then a 4 Asgard somewhere. I can't imagine going close to Angel is the right decision there. Do you just pull him back and back up your Loki?
Yeah, you could end up probably within one of that center portal. Mm-hmm. So outside of 4, and you're probably inside of Angela moving once and striking. But then you've got 5? She's not that likely to do 5 damage to you. I guess
she would also need to throw something, probably, right?
Yeah, and you've probably got Okoye putting a couple of spear blasts into you as well.
Yeah, I just think Thor's pretty safe up there. That car's probably giving him cover. He's far enough away that that car is also going to restrict Angela's landing spots. I like Loki activating first, yeah.
Loki's doing the illusions attack. He's taking the low odds play. If this comes up big, then it's going to put Morgan in the driving seat.
Mm-hmm. If you can deal at least 1 damage here, preferably 2.
Ideally, he wants 2, yeah. Oh, and he's got the trigger off on the illusions attack in a big spot. The double wild.
I wanted to see it last time.
So we're gonna. I think that's a dead panther even through Wakanda.
I would say so, yeah.
Oof. Okay, big swing to Morgan right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to put that spider down somewhere nobody else can take it, hopefully. Far enough away from the points of secure, far enough away from the other
Yeah,
characters.
that spider's not relevant for this game. I mean, maybe Angela can double move there, but I don't think that's what you want to do now that Loki's able to move on to that point and is scoring two.
Yeah. If you're double moving with Angela, you might as well get the one behind you and then come back to this flaming portal that's close to you. I don't think double moving way out to here is a value add necessarily. Though it does get you further away from Thor, so. And Loki's going to live the dream. He's going to be able to move over here and secure as well. Yeah, I like him.
That's massive for Morgan, and he can probably hide behind that building so that people are going to struggle to shoot him.
Yeah. How much HP does Loki have left? He's full, so even if Angela comes up and double moves and throws a size 3 building at him, it won't kill?
Yep. Even if he whiffs on the defense.
Yeah, it'll deal a maximum of 4 damage, so hiding behind the building is safe. I would have, if I was at 1 damage on Loki, I might pull him down towards the bottom of the screen.
It's safer if you throw that building at Loki with Angela first, and then Okoye can move up and do a spear blast. Then I think you can take Loki out. But the trouble is, you're not picking up any spiders when you're doing that.
I don't like that. I think that he tricksters away from the Okoye shot.
He hasn't got the power.
Well, he will does if you throw a building at him.
Yeah. About.
Yeah, I just took a building to the face. I'm good.
But then if he tricksters away, then he's it depends on the position. He's probably off the point, and maybe that's good enough. Right,
maybe,
so Morgan's currently sitting on 3 VPs to Pat's 1.
Yeah.
So definitely Morgan in the driving seat here. That was a massive swing to him.
I agree. I liked that activation. That's what I felt like I would have looked for, something similar.
And yeah, it was lowish odds, but sometimes those low odds come up.
Live by the dice, die by the dice.
It's been taking some lessons from Travis.
Right. Yeah, a good old spike is all you need sometimes. I'm curious what that range 4 measurement was. Distance between Thor and, like, maybe if I place towards the building and then Angela's base and
Loki
then grabbing
bubble, maybe. Loki bubble's range 4, isn't it?
Yeah, but she was Pat was measuring 4 from Thor to the building, though, it seemed like. If you were measuring Loki bubble, you can just measure the Loki bubble.
Yeah, maybe.
I was thinking maybe he tries to get a sword strike in, and then he teleports down kind of diagonally down past Thor, closer to the street booth, in the middle of the table where that Loki's hiding behind. Picks it up and throws it back at Thor.
It's Victor into Loki. So now Pat might be hunting some spikes.
Right.
So he's moving. He's going to try and one-shot daze. Cosmic Assassin, place Cosmic Assassin. Oh, this could go. Angela could do Angela things here.
She's loaded up on power, so she's free to use all of her abilities at once, basically, or in sequence, I suppose.
Do you do the throw first? No, it's going in with the attack.
Yeah, I don't think you want to save it to try and cash in on the size 3 building.
That's a great attack. 4 hits.
Oh boy!
Into 1 block. Man, no skulls.
Oh no!
5 into 1. That's going to do 4 damage. Leave Thor on 1. Oh, it's got the Wakanda reroll still to come.
Oh boy!
Yeah, no, Panther's off the table. No Wakanda reroll. Panther's gone.
That's right. The leadership is out. Yeah. That's also an added benefit of getting him off the table with Loki there. I didn't think about that, but it's great.
Going to play. I would measure the medium. So that building's within 2. Measure the medium to Loki. Is Loki in range of just pick up that building? The building's in range for Angela to grab it. The building's gone, but it looks like it's gone into Thor, who is going to go down.
Yeah. Yeah, that removes his other activation, and now Okoye just has free reign.
Yes.
Angela grabs Thor's spider in response, and Pat scores 2 more with Okoye. With a move to the spider and a move to the portal, maybe?
he can't get to that spider in a single move, I think. Or
Gotcha.
maybe he can. Yeah, maybe he can. Oh, that's going to be tight.
Either way, you've got
I think
2 points
that's why
from Loki. You've got 1 point from Angela. So all Okoye needs to do is score one to tie.
you go to a seventh round of double tied. Oh. I think this is why if Okoye had a choice the previous round to go and get a spider and score a point, or to sit on extract and shoot Thor twice,
Yeah.
she chose to shoot Thor twice, and I think that was not maybe optimal as we've seen the way this was played out.
Oop.
Moves on to the point again. She's moving on to the point rather than getting the spider. I
I
feel
think
like Pat's making
that's.
the same mistake again there.
I don't know. I feel like it's safer because if you went and got that spider, who knows where Okoye's going to be standing after she rolls for that spider infected.
But sure, but the point is then she has the ability to score two next round.
Oh, I
I
no,
guess
I agree with that. I'm just
I guess she has still got that ability because she can go and grab that other spider and move back onto the portal. So okay, I like it fine. I like it fine actually.
yeah, and staying outside of range of Loki there. I think he may be second guessing it here.
Yeah, he's trying to get out for pick up spider. So yeah, he's going through the same sort of thought patterns that I'm going through, and that saves him an action from next round.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to go. I'm going to score two. Angela hasn't picked up spider. It's not showing on her,
Goodness
but it is.
gracious.
It is on her card. So even though it's not showing on the overhead display, Angela has got a spider. So that's going to be 2-all. We go to 19 in round 7. Oh, could this be any closer?
I mean, if you wanted a an excellent showcase of what you can do, or of how competitive a Battle Realms game can be, I don't think you could have asked for a better show.
There's been a fantastic game. Whoever comes out on top, there've been some great playing and some uh,
I
adapting to the rules. Let's say.
Absolutely, and I think this is an excellent showcase of the game in general. You've had some great strategy and gambit plays come up, but you've also had you've definitely felt the impact of dice, and you felt the swing turns come up too. Right.
Yeah.
So that rubber, everything this game does is being shown off here, and I think that's pretty great.
Right now, though, with priority, I think it's advantage Morgan. I mean, dice are dice, and who knows what's going to happen. But I feel like a 10 power Thor is going to have fun with an Angela.
Absolutely. I'm I'm hoping they disrupt this race a little bit more. One of those cars is going to have to disappear.
Yeah, they've survived surprisingly well. These drivers.
That's
Clearly, it's excellent skill.
I'm racing around all these Asgardians running all over the place.
Yeah. So we're looking at a Farazgard from Thor, getting him back towards this the demon portals. I'm not sure I love that. I think just grab a spider and hang out. It kind of feels like a fine activation for Thor. Oh,
Yeah.
just going on the Okoye move first.
I'm
Looks like
thinking.
Okoye has triggered her spider, and
Oh right.
Morgan's,
Oh, we're
Morgan's
trying to
measuring
see if I
down.
can
Huge
I can move into
deciding,
range of for
you
Asgard.
know,
Oof.
where do I want to go with Okoye?
Tried to get her incinerated as well.
Uh, yeah, he's probably sequenced it that way around because Loki was already incinerated, so there was very little reason not to.
Right. I think that's would have been my pick as well. Right. I'm thinking maybe Thor charges into the center, batters Angela towards the what is currently the Thor side of the board. You know, moves past her and punches her the other way. Maybe
Into
she
the
goes into the
car,
car.
damage, yeah.
Yep. And if he's lucky, maybe he can set it up in a way that he can then throw her again further away with his strongest Avenger superpower and run down Okoye if this spider infected move is in a good enough position. Thor can get a lot done with his 10 power here, and I think that it might be the deciding activation of the game, given
I
how
wondered,
things are
I wondered
laid
if
out.
Pat might be considering for Asgard into this area here, and then his God of Thunder, this area 2 blast on both of them. Just try and take them all off the board.
Right, because you're now incinerating Okoye, and because you don't have to throw with his hammer.
Correct. You know, it's an optional. If you hit that wild, it's an optional throw effect.
And it looks like he's going to get to a position where he'd be within range of throwing a car as well, so that's some extra spike damage.
Yep.
God of Thunder costs you what, 6?
Yep.
Doesn't refill power, so maybe he just moves so he can guarantee having all the power he needs for everything. 6 for God of Thunder, 4 for or 3 for a throw.
I think, yes. But the Farazgard triggers a strike, which is going to generate some power.
Yeah, with no dice modification. I think that I like for Asgard into a staggered Angela just as insurance.
I'd agree. I think that's the strong play, but I think he's looking to set up. Okay, the upside of this, down for the worst case scenario, I then strike again and I get my 2 attacks, and maybe that's enough to kill Angela. And if I get 3 damage through on Angela, which is not unreasonable, then no, it's only 2 damage he needs, isn't it? 3 for 6, yeah, two damage on Angela, which is even more reasonable. Then I've got enough for my big God of Thunder attack, and I can throw a car.
Yes.
Anyone who survives it.
Yeah, and you'll have a staggered Angela as well, so she'll be much less impactful.
Sploosh is having some flashbacks here from Pat using God of Thunder in a final. So yeah, we got 3. This is the Farazgard.
What are the chances Okoye doesn't die and wins?
Okoye, the Godslayer. Yeah, that's another.
He is literally a god. She can do something about that. Oh, we're going outside of range 2.
Completely ignoring Angela.
Okay.
That's intentional. He's placed outside of 2. It means he's just decided to ignore Angela completely. Oof. That is not what you want to see.
Oh, no. There's 50-50 Thor for you.
Yep. Without that dice mitigation, sometimes he just falls back.
Wow. Okoye survives and kills Thor.
So we're getting 3 power to
Commentator's
throw
curse.
a car into Okoye, I'm assuming. He blocks it all. Oh, man.
Oh, no. I'm sorry,
Okoye,
Morgan.
What are you going to do about her?
I'm sorry, Morgan. I shouldn't have said
having
anything about Okoye.
Yeah. His one weakness. How did Pat know?
That's the secret tech. You draft Okoye as early as possible to use him against Morgan. Wow. I did not see that kind of dice result happening.
No. But then, yeah, with those dice, even if he'd gone down different going into Angela, like we talked about, if the dice turn against you, then it's not a lot you can do.
No. Just have fun and move on with your life.
Yep. So we've got 1 action left with Thor. He's Farazgarded, hasn't done anything. Throwing a car, that didn't do anything either. He's going to move to the back point and say, I'm scoring 2. I'm relatively safe from Angela. I'm going to get cover against her Blades of Vicar, if it's even in range. Wait, so, Pat,
might
take a second there to go,
right?
Okay.
He doesn't have a spider?
Thor doesn't have a spider. That's true. Thor doesn't have a spider. Yeah, so he's scoring 1. In which case, everybody's injured, so they're all counting equally for secures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I can see a scenario where this goes another turn. I think Angela's going to be hunting Loki.
Oh, she doesn't have a spider either right now, does she?
No, she does. She does. It's just not going up on the heads-up display.
Oh, I see.
But if she hunts Loki, then that's game.
Yes. Because he needs that spider, and he needs a portal with Loki.
Yeah.
To bring this back.
So it's relying on Loki's suspect I am a god defense, because he hasn't got enough extra at the minute. And you do the attack first rather than the throw, so that you've got the power for the throw, and Loki doesn't have the power to trickster.
Yeah.
Looks like Morgan's going right. I've got to go big on this, so I think he's going 7 dice. Here's the I am 6 dice. Yeah,
I like
7
this.
dice.
I like this better.
Okoye. He's got 3. He's got the wild, but Okoye's blocking 1 at the minute, and she's got her Dora Milaje reroll. She's going to block that blank. Is going to be a block because he's within 2, so blocks 2, takes 1.
Gets thrown away.
Gets the throw, but I don't think that's enough.
No, but neither
That
was
needed to,
sitting on that
yeah,
secure, I don't think. I think that Morgan sees that he had to roll some dice and hope for a big roll in
yeah.
order to get anything
Okay.
done here. Otherwise, the
So,
game was more or less a foregone conclusion. So I
yeah,
think he made the right decision. It just didn't quite work out.
yeah. Needed the dice to go with him. He was in a tough spot after those poor dice in the early activation.
Yeah. Now you can have if you're Pat, you have the flexibility. You can move Okoye back and just hide and get 2 points.
Yeah. He's scoring 2 points. Angela's scoring third. It's balls in Morgan's court. He's got to make something happen against Angela.
Yeah, and you have enough
Even
actions to even shoot at Thor. Why not?
yeah,
And looks like you're getting something through. Crit will tell us. Nope. So 1 damage. Leaps and bounds here. I'm not terribly worried about Thor leaving the board at this point, but
Thor got cover. No, isn't
no.
yeah. One damage.
He's in the middle of the street there, I think.
I was looking at the dice rollers and I couldn't remember how close he was.
Yeah. I'm trying
So
to keep the camera on the
Loki
action
has
here.
just got to move up and absolutely whack Angela with his 4 dice beam attack. He
Hey,
can pay for I am God, which helps,
that
but I don't
slow
think it
might
helps
actually
that.
matter.
Yeah, yeah, it's in 3.
Yeah, he's spending the power. I think you want the damage results. You want to slow.
Yeah, because there's a chance there's a bunch of crits, but
Right.
there's no crits there. 3 hits with the I'm a God.
Against one
So 1
block.
block. Yeah, so she's going to be slowed.
It's good damage.
But I think that's game there because Pat needs to do is nothing. He's already got 3 DPs.
Yeah, I think that game lived or died on the Thor activation, and unfortunately it died. I think I would have liked to see Thor get a little bit more done and make the last couple activations really matter.
Yeah, make it tight, and then
But you can't get everything you want, right?
so they're just playing out the last activation of the round, but going for Loki because why not?
Of course. You gotta give a Thor a reason to turn into Dad Thor. He's got to be upset
Yeah.
about his brother.
So one damage into Loki, a place, and going to lob a building at him. And if he whiffs, he'll get smudged.
Yeah. Let's see. The roll is
2 and maybe a third on the crit. So Loki's going to live, but the Wakandans carry the day.
yeah. All right.
Turns out Wakandans. Who knew?
You want to hop back over to the other channel?
Do you want to give him a minute just to or do you want to jump straight in?
Well, we can just be quiet for a minute and just jump over
Sure. I'm chatting. It's quite interesting to hear the chat actually.
He had 2 spiders, so he just double moves.
Angela didn't have a spider.
Angela's got a spider, yeah.
Angela's got a spider.
Oh,
picks up
it
Thor.
didn't show
Yeah.
up in the...
Yeah, so the problem is Okoye just moves up here, and I'm 1 up on Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then assuming Loki can't kill Angela.
Man.
Yeah.
Loki was so good, but I felt
Yeah,
Morgan
Loki was
first.
excellent.
Morgan's-
Even though he kept getting moved back by spiders, he was very good.
Yeah, the spiders really fucked Morgan over. But like a lot of the dice-dependent things really went Pat's way, I feel.
Yeah,
Still
I guess so.
very close.
Over 7 turns, it's hard to keep track, and we definitely had some good things happen.
True.
Hey guys,
Hello.
thanks for giving our audience an incredible game. I was commenting to well, first of all, congratulations, Pat, and condolences, Morgan. I was telling Jacob that I think that this game is like the poster child for everything Marvel Crisis Protocol does. You had some pretty crazy dice swings, you had some hot swing turns going on for both players, and you just had some tied scores, extra rounds. This game has everything. Romance, action, everything. It's a summer blockbuster.
Yeah, it was very exciting.
So thank you
God
for that.
Thank God this wasn't a Deathclock game.
There was certainly a lot of thinking time involved here. I love the Loki pick. I think it was a great maneuver. He's always been one of my favorite characters. I gotta ask though, you're playing Thor and Loki. why no sibling rivalry? Or I'm not sibling rivalry. Is that
Sibling
the name of it?
rivalry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I meant get help. I mean, I love that card. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it looks a good card. I'm not sure it would have helped me too much in this game. I think it's a situational card. It used to be really strong with drop off, as you blokes know.
Yes.
Without drop off, it's I find it's one of those cards that can occasionally do well, but occasionally you can't pull it off. So I just the inconsistency.
Fair enough. Jacob.
Yeah, a few questions for you, Morgan. If I could take you back to round 1.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to talk me through why Toad went and got the far spider and not the near one?
The far instead of the middle.
Far instead of the near. So Angela went and grabbed the middle, and then Toad went and grabbed the one that was sitting in front of Black Panther.
So obviously playing against Angela is problematic because she just takes the middle extract and the odd extract and already am at a points disadvantage. So as the player at the disadvantage, you've got a choice of do you try and do the bold, steal the extract, and then accept that maybe try and force his bold player to re-steal it to maintain the advantage. So I weighed that up and I thought, I'm already a point down. I'm probably in a bit of trouble. So I can keep fighting on that middle secure to try and maintain my advantage, or maintain parity. He just keeps sitting there throwing spears at me while I'm incinerated. Or I force his Panther to do something bold and maybe I get lucky, and then maybe my guy's activating and maybe dazing Panther. It's low percentage, but otherwise we're stuck in a stalemate. He's got all the rerolls and I kind of don't, minus Shuri. So is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. It forces the player who's got the advantage to do something that puts them at a disadvantage potentially. So I've got to force, when I'm a point down, you've got to force something, I think. So I tried.
Yeah, I feel though that then led you to Thor ending up getting the other spider. I mean, maybe that was your plan all along, but we saw the impact that had on Thor's movement throughout the game.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, someone's got to pick it up. Is it Shuri Toad? Maybe.
Yeah. That's kind of just when you were setting up, that's what I was saying that I thought would be the way you went with them grabbing them, so that then you've got your beta characters can go in and then daze someone, and then they're able to pick up the spider, whereas your hang back characters with your spider. So I felt like that I can see the line of play because it did force Black Panther to come the other way for Pat to get back that advantage, but I felt like it just more spider distribution in the early game.
I think it speaks to how dynamic Spider Infected is as a crisis. I think that, people always harp on characters like MODOK hates Spider Infected because he definitely doesn't want to move around. Every character hates Spider Infected because they don't want, the player involved does not want their characters, their careful, planned positioning to be upset by a 50-50 die roll. And
I just say spiders and meetings are the two ones I hate most in life.
Right. It's, what is it, the alien ships and scrolls and the ones where you have an RNG chance of picking up the thing, those don't worry me quite as much as this does. Anything can happen in this scenario, which makes for a great game, but it's frustrating as hell.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic with this particular combination of spiders and portals because none of the objectives are things that characters actually want to be having, right? And it makes this very awkward tension for characters like Thor and Angela, who are your playmakers, who are very good at claiming points, but they don't really want those points in this game.
That's right, because they're, either getting a defense debuff or they're going to be out of position. I think Angela's maybe a little bit more forgiving in that respect because of her long movement. But, you saw the impact. Thor getting pushed back, Loki getting pushed back, Angela being sent into the corner. There's out of bodyguard range. There's so many linchpins that just get pulled out in the wash in this game.
Absolutely, and the incinerate on Black Panther was also a big deal for him.
Yes. Dropping to 2 dice against mystic attacks, nobody wants to see that.
Nope.
But I think that you both played this so well to try and dig yourselves out of those unfortunate circumstances that the crisis has been putting you in. So congratulations to both of you on that. It was so well played. It was a joy to watch this game.
Thank you very much.
Pat, a question for you then. Your thoughts on Vibranium shielding? It's very rarely taken card, and maybe Battle Realms is the place where it shines, but having now played it, what do you feel?
So I definitely didn't get the most out of it in this game, right? I think I misplayed with Panther on turn 2 and left him too far to a flank. It was awkward because he was my first character to activate to get him out of danger, and I wanted to maintain like the stalemate that was going on. But of course, he's so tough against Morgan's team that I probably should have had him a bit more central so that he could have used Vibranium a turn earlier where it would have mattered more. I knew I had Vibranium and Bitter Rivals as kind of two ways to swing attrition in my favour, and I knew that I probably wanted to use them on different turns. But neither of them really shone in this game just because of the way it played out. There was never a perfect circumstance to use them.
Yeah, I think definitely Morgan got off a better Bitter Rivals than you did with that fantastic Valkyrie activation.
Yes, definitely. Goodness.
I was telling
that was a real swing point, right? I felt like I was a little bit ahead until then, and then Valkyrie pulled the game right back round.
That's right. Yeah, and it was like suddenly we've got Morgan showing signs of life, and there's a game again here. I was telling the Twitch audience to get their clips ready. You're gonna want to save that one.
Your Valkyrie also had a pretty big swing turn the turn before KOing Shuri and dazing Toad.
Yeah, that was very strong.
And that was, you were leveraging your Bitter Rivals there to try and make that happen. So I guess you still got value out of it.
Mm-hmm. It worked out, yeah. Even though it was only one dice, I mean, it was exactly enough damage for Shuri, right? So
that's right. I was commenting before the game that especially in Spider Infected, I'm more comfortable personally running 5 characters, not 4. Had reducing the number of bodies for some more durable players or characters come up or been a consideration for either of you?
So I'll go first. So I don't think Pat really had an option based on the recruit and dismiss from what I saw on my side. I think he had to play 5.
Yeah, I did.
Whereas I had a cheeky option of doing wide Cabal. Sorry, yeah, it was Cabal. It was Red Skull, Magneto, Loki, and probably Valkyrie. But like you, I agree. Probably Spider Infected, you're better off 5 wide. And Asgard, very inconsistent on dice, and they love Shuri for the rerolls.
Right.
So we don't have a noodle attack.
Thor, the last turn.
That was sad. Yeah, so I think 5 wide's the better play against spiders as well, unless you've got a genuine good attrition wide, which I don't quite had with that sort of hodgepodge Cabal setup that I could have run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this certainly turned out to be the dynamic game that we wanted, right? And for what it's worth, I was hoping Thor had some better rolls at the end to make this the final couple activations really, really close.
Yeah, well, it came. I mean, look, my Valkyrie spiked to keep me in the game. I was in real trouble early. I think I misplayed a couple of times in the early rounds. Just one wasn't quite on the game, and I didn't play optimally. I think I did a few things poorly early, and then I had to get Valkyrie to have a big turn to bring me back into it, which she did. So I was fortunate there. So swings and roundabouts, but very disappointing for Thor at the end there. I thought, geez, if I can get 4 damage on a Koye who's incinerated, I win the game, probably. But not to be. Not to be.
I think Jacob and I spent 5 minutes talking about all the things Thor could do with 10 power, and then you just dropped the dice, and it was like, yeah. And we were like, no.
I was wondering, Pat, did you consider for Asgarding into roughly where you did, but within 2 of Angela, and then dropping God of Thunder?
I did, but the chances of... I did. I wanted to keep power for a throw and charge Asgard and God of Thunder. You're all in. Like, you are all in.
Yeah, for that to work, you needed to...
That's for sure.
Yeah, for that to work, you would have needed to generate 2 power on the strike, which was dicey, as we saw.
Yeah. So I thought with a couple of swings and a throw, I could have got Oye, but as I said, and she continues to be my nemesis. Yeah.
Would you ban her first from here on out every Battle Realm game?
No question, yes. I feel that.
Yeah, I was saying, Morgan's weakness is Okoye. You got to windmill slam and lock in that Okoye draft first pick. If you're Pat. All right, guys. Excellent game. Jacob, you got anything else to add?
No, just thank you very much for taking part in the tournament, and congratulations to Pat, the inaugural Xavier Protocols Invitational winner.
Right. And
well done, Patty.
Looks like Twitch chat is pretty quiet here, so they're pretty happy about the game too, I think. So thank you guys for playing. Thank you guys for joining my stream and letting me be involved again. Always a pleasure. Great group of people. So thanks for Jacob for setting up the Xavier Protocols Invitational. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Battle Realms games that we've offered, and looking forward to some more community thoughts on that format moving forward. I think that's it for me. We'll probably take a stop here. So have a great day, everybody.
Man.
Good game, guys.
Good game.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Art, for judging. Thank you, Jacob, for organising. Thank you, QTR, for commentating.
Sure.
Thank you, Morgan, for playing. Really good fun.
I'm starting to get a twitch against you now, mate. Like, it's 3 in a row you beat me.
Yeah. And each game is ridiculously close and could go either way. But the coin toss just keeps coming up in my direction.
The Okoye toss, you say?
Dodge Pat.
Yeah,
it's killing me. It is burning my soul.
All right,
no,
guys.
it's good you played well.
Yeah. Thank you. I got lucky as well, obviously, but it was a great game.
Your Angela had some very hot dice.
Oh my gosh. I have to say, I think that might have been my favourite activation of Angela ever, where she started here, killed Valkyrie, advanced to here, killed Loki on the back point, and then came all the way back here. How cool was that?
It's just doing Angela things.
When Angela pops off, she's